that role, or if he maybe profiles sort of towards the back of the rotation, and just how you see the rotation in general kind of going forward.
Yeah, well, I think where our rotation has gone, we've followed, and when we've gotten really good starting pitching, we've won a bunch of games. We've been competitive. I think Dustin fits into that group. I don't know how much sense it makes to say exactly what he is. Ultimately, what he does over the next 2 months and beyond is going to define his time here in Boston. We pursued a number of really impact opportunities. Obviously, not all of them work out, but it wasn't from a lack of trying to be as aggressive as possible, from an unwillingness to get uncomfortable. But ultimately, it takes two teams lining up for those trades to line up.
Craig, did you ultimately feel the price for front of the rotation starters was too high?
No, I don't think this is about an unwillingness to include guys or anything like that. Teams have to like our players in order for that to happen. And, we went into this deadline feeling like, in order to accomplish what we needed to accomplish, what we hoped to accomplish, we couldn't take some of our young minor league players off the table. We couldn't go into this with untouchables, and we didn't. We were willing to talk about all of our guys in the name of improving the team. It just didn't work out.
Craig, how would you describe just kind of your emotional takeaway from this deadline? Are you disappointed you didn't get more done? Are you pleased with what you did? Just how would you square that?
Yeah, I think all of those emotions can be true at the same time, in that, we're happy with the guys that we brought in with Steven and Dustin. But we also pursued real impact players that we felt like could improve our team in 25 and beyond. Like I said, we were kind of uncomfortably aggressive in trying to pursue them, and the players that we were willing to put into deals. And ultimately, it wasn't from a lack of effort. Other teams needed to say, hey, that's enough, or that crosses the line. But like I said, it wasn't about, an unwillingness to talk about our full system. And I think in a lot of ways, some of the deals that we've made, talking about the Crochet deal as an example, and a willingness to give up some of our best young players to improve our major league team, that was instructive in terms of how we approached this deadline. But, ultimately, we didn't line up with other teams in those pursuits.
Craig, in terms of thinking about moves that would have involved the major league team, how much did that change over the month of July? We were talking with you a few weeks ago about the potential for outfield surplus. How much did Meyer's injury reconfigure that potential avenue? And can you give us an update on Marcelo?
Yeah, I think Marcelo is still trying to get as much information as possible. I'll have a second opinion and then determine kind of what the right course is here. So we're still collecting information on that front. But then in terms of, potentially dealing from a surplus with our major league team, I think over the last 2 to 3 weeks, it became clear that all 26 guys on our roster were contributing to what we were doing. And, we weren't willing to take a hit to our major league team and potentially impact the 2025 season, in favor of trying to repackage or repurpose in a way that might have improved the future. And there weren't really opportunities to both trade off of our major league team and improve our 2025 outlook. So we felt like it was best to kind of leave that group as it was and, try to use what I think is a strong and deep system to try to improve the team. And I think, with Dustin and Steven, we did that. But in some other pursuits, like I said, it wasn't from an unwillingness to talk about anybody in our system.
Craig, there was a report from late Wednesday night that you were engaged on maybe the best bat that changed hands during the last couple of days, realizing that most of your focus was on pitching. How much of your time was spent on looking for a bat and one that could maybe help you at first base?
Yeah, we spent pretty significant time trying to add a bat, but someone again that could, impact the roster and represent a meaningful upgrade over the guys that we have either on our team or potentially in AAA that we feel like would immediately improve the roster. We weren't able to line up, but again, like none of the none of the deals that didn't end up being executed, in my opinion, came from a lack of being aggressive or an unwillingness to get uncomfortable. But it does take two teams to line up in order for trades to go across the line.
Greg, what can you tell us about Steven Matz, and what role do you see him fitting in the bullpen or in the pitching staff in general?
Yeah, so he's obviously been he served multiple roles in the big leagues, but it seems like out of the pen the stuff is ticked up. He's got a really good fastball that plays to both sides. He's a great strike thrower who's been in kind of pressure situations before. So we feel like he's someone that Alex can call upon in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning and get really big outs for us. And if you kind of look at what he's done out of the pen, he's been really, really good.
Craig, considering his history starting, if need be, could you try to stretch him out at some point?
I think I don't want to close the door on anything. That would have to be a conversation. But my hope is that with the current rotation and also some of the younger guys who have recently gotten to AAA, who are likely to get to AAA here pretty soon, that we'll also be able to draw from some of our internal depth. But we're obviously going to do whatever we need to do to try to win games down the stretch here. And if that means getting him stretched out a little bit or taking on a little bit more of a bulk role, then we'll explore it.
Hey, Craig, as far as not having untouchables and needing other teams to like your players to make a deal, did it surprise you that what you had, players you presumably like, weren't enough or weren't appealing enough to the teams you were talking to?
I don't know if that is, I don't know if that is surprising. I think a lot of the industry does appreciate the young players that we have in our system. And, we tried to work through different combinations of guys. And like I said, didn't approach some of these conversations as though any players were off limits, and we couldn't line up, and we were pursuing, multiple impact players. And obviously on the other side, teams that were operating as sellers were trying to juggle different concepts. And, for whatever reason, we weren't able to line up. But, I do think that there's pretty widespread sentiment across the industry that we have a really solid group of young players, many of whom are already impacting our big league club. And so, I think the outlook is really good, not just for 2025, but beyond.
And despite your status or your position as buyers, did you have teams calling you about, say, Chapman, with what the reliever rental market was doing?
No, I think there are teams that are doing their due diligence and checking in. Obviously we recognize what trading somebody like Chappie would mean, and so didn't have the appetite to go down that path. But yeah, I think everybody kind of makes these calls to figure out what might gain traction and what wouldn't. But we're a much better team when AC can call down to the bullpen and get Chapman up for the 9th inning with a lead.
Craig, maybe I have this wrong, and hopefully you can help me just understand, but you mentioned how it takes two to tango and some of the other teams weren't really interested in some of your guys, and how you went off to try to make an impact move, get an impact player. But earlier in the season, you traded Rafi Devers for what you called developmental opportunities. And I'm just wondering if there's any regret associated with trading Devers at that time and maybe not trying to get an impact player back for a player like that, who a lot of other teams would have been interested in.
Well, I think what we have to evaluate is how we've played, and I think there are some different considerations to that trade. Again, Rafi is a very, very good hitter and a very talented player. It brought up it created some flexibility in our roster, created a little bit more versatility, in terms of playing time and position. I think ultimately, we've played very well and won a bunch of games since that time. I think that's how I would characterize kind of the aftermath of the trade. But I think the broader point here is, I understand and we understand as a front office and as an organization how precious and valuable winning seasons are. And so we were doing everything we could over the last 2 weeks to try and bolster the team. But a team has to say yes to our offer, or give us, some type of counter that we can work with in order to execute a trade.
Craig, what do you guys like about May specifically, and could he start for you as soon as tomorrow with the TBD spot?
I think we're still working through when the right time is to get him into the rotation, just given a bit of a whirlwind day, I'm sure, for him. And sometimes, having to get somebody to travel and settle in and then take the ball in a start could be a hefty ask, but we'll work through that. I think ultimately what we see in Dustin is, a guy who really limits hard contact, keeps the ball on the ground at a strong rate. I feel like that's something that will play well here at our park. Is battle tested, has premium stuff, and a bona fide starter that can take the ball for us every 5 days.
Greg, none of this happens in a vacuum this time of year. When you look around at the wild card picture and the rest of the American League, the Yankees, Seattle, Texas, Detroit, others improved. You might look at it on paper and say they improved more than you did today. How much does that concern you, since this is all kind of all in one pool, at least some of those teams fighting for that same spot that you are?
Yeah, we can't ignore what other teams are doing. At the same time, our focus today was identifying and pursuing the players that we felt like were good fits for our team. And ultimately, we're all going to be defined by what happens from tomorrow through, our last game of the season and potentially the playoffs. And so, I think it's really easy to sit here today and evaluate the trades that were made and how much better we think teams got on paper. Ultimately, those questions are going to be answered for us. Like I said, we were as aggressive as we could possibly be in pursuits. Some of them worked out and some of them didn't. And that's the nature of a trade deadline.
Craig, May is already pretty much well over his career high in innings. How do you look at that going down the stretch and how that affects how he might be used?
Yeah, he feels good. The stuff has continued to trend in the right direction. So, we'll do everything we can to, provide the recovery and resources and monitor workloads the same way we would anybody else, but don't feel like there are kind of restrictions on usage here.
Do you see, Mr. Breslow, do you see Steven Matz taking the role, the spot of Bernardino or Murphy? And what do you saw about Tips in during his time in the Red Sox organization?
Sorry, with Matz's time in this.
What do you saw in the Tips times in the organization, and what spot do you think that Steven Matz will get once he is on the team?
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, in terms of the spot that he'll take, obviously that will be a conversation that we'll work through. But, in terms of what we think he brings, like I said, the stuff has been really good out of the bullpen. He's been an elite strike thrower, and, the stability of bringing someone in late in games and leverage situations that, is going to compete in the zone is really, really encouraging and inspires confidence. We really like the way that the stuff is played versus right and versus left, particularly the fastball, and feel like he's capable of getting high leverage outs for us down the stretch.
Craig, recognizing that fans are obviously not seeing behind the scenes and everything, you guys made fewer moves this week than you did at last year's trade deadline. Obviously, the efficacy of those moves will play out in the coming weeks. But what would you say to fans who are frustrated thinking that the team is in a really good position and they just watched other teams make huge trades and maybe you guys didn't get some of those players that you were in on?
Yeah, I understand the frustration and the disappointment, because we're all looking at the last week right now in terms of the trades that were made and weren't made, and there's not a lot of sympathy for how hard we tried to get deals across the line. I understand that. We believe that we have a really young, exciting, talented team, and one that is capable of continuing to perform at this level and make it to the postseason. That's what our focus is on. And this, the decisions that were made at this deadline, they weren't driven by, like I said, an unwillingness to be aggressive. They weren't driven by taking, a highlighted or reinforced view of 2026 or 2027. We were aggressively pursuing acquisitions that could help us in 2025, and they didn't line up. But I think if fans were in the office during this deadline, they would see that guys that we maybe didn't expect to be willing to talk about going into these conversations, we made available, and we tried to put the most aggressive offers that we could in hopes that they were gonna end in deals. And sometimes they did, and sometimes they don't.
Any other questions?
A little bit about the three guys you did give up, and Blaze and Tibbs and Earhart. Yeah,
so obviously position players, and Tibbs came back in the Devers deal, and Earhart and Blaze, both guys who were drafted and developed here, and three good players. We obviously didn't get to know James Tibbs as well as, Blaze and Zach, but feel like they are really good baseball players. They're going to go on to have successful careers. Each does something that we like, whether it's James's contact, and Zach has started to hit the ball pretty hard, really good defender in the outfield, and Blaze obviously has been performing really, really well in AAA this year. But you have to be willing to give up good players in order to execute deals. We obviously have found that out, and we're willing to do so. But felt like the additions of Matz and May were worthwhile, just given the position of our major league team right now.
Craig, you mentioned Marcelo was going to get a second opinion. Does that suggest the first one wasn't good, or can you give us some insight as where he's at? If he's going to be able to play again this year?
I think we're still trying to figure all of that out, and I think it's been it's pretty common practice at this point, just to get multiple opinions, make sure that there's alignment, in terms of what is happening, what the best course is. So we'll get that information, and we'll figure out kind of what the path is from there.
And similarly, do you have more on Tanner after his appointments this week?
I think he is trying to weigh all of the information, figure out, again, kind of what the right course is. Obviously I've not had a chance to talk to him over the last 2 days. But we'll tomorrow, and we'll kind of figure out, at that point, what the course of action is here, and we'll make that available to you guys as appropriate.
I know that you said that you had pursued bats, but in the same vein that about whether the injury to Marcelo changed how you would have explored the possibility of trading from the big league roster, did it change the aggressiveness with which you were pursuing infield help?
I think probably to some extent it did, in that we were engaged in more conversations with more teams. I think there were a few different ways, or a few more ways the pieces could come together, just given Sedan moving into the infield. But now that Alex is back in kind of a full go, he can anchor third base. So I think it probably gave us more flexibility in that, hey, if we got, a bat that played, a particular position, there is enough versatility in pieces that could move around. We've seen that from Sedan. We've seen it from Romy, from, Toro at both corners. And again, ultimately, I think we were willing to be very aggressive. And we didn't line up with other teams when it came to adding a bat.
And you mentioned May obviously would be a whirlwind for him to start tomorrow. Have you guys landed on a TBA guy for tomorrow?
Still working through that. Wanted to see how today shook out, and then I'll circle up with AC, and we'll make an announcement on that.
These are long days, right? Like obviously the build up to the what is the general feeling at the end of a trade deadline day?
Yeah, I think you're wired for a few days, and then you kind of come down from it. There's, I'm sure, fatigue setting in around the office. I think people are tired. They haven't slept much. They've been away from families. So my hope would be tonight everybody has a chance to catch their breath, and then we start to see a very important series tomorrow here at home. So, there isn't a ton of time to dwell on what happened, kind of leading up to today.
Any other questions? Great.
All right, so that wraps up Craig Breslow's.
All right, well, why don't we take a break? We got to digest what the hell just happened. It's a night show. We're here all night. Craig Breslow spoke. We'll have more coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Murray pre-party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Craig, maybe I have this wrong, and hopefully you can help me just understand, but you mentioned how it takes two to tango, and some of the other teams weren't really interested in some of your guys, and how you went off to try to make an impact move, get an impact player. But earlier in the season, you traded Rafi Devers for what you called developmental opportunities. And I'm just wondering if there's any regret associated with trading Devers at that time and maybe not trying to get an impact player back for a player like that, who a lot of other teams would have been interested in.
Well, I think what we have to evaluate is how we've played, and I think there are some different considerations to that trade. Again, Rafi is a very, very good hitter and a very talented player. It brought up it created some flexibility in our roster, created a little bit more versatility, in terms of playing time and position. I think ultimately we've played very well and won a bunch of games since that time. I think that's how I would characterize kind of the aftermath of the trade. But I think the broader point here is, I understand and we understand as a front office and as an organization how precious and valuable winning seasons are. And so we were doing everything we could over the last 2 weeks to try and bolster the team. But a team has to say yes to our offer, or give us, some type of counter that we can work with in order to execute a trade.
In the rain, believing that the Red Sox wanted to be aggressive. We'll get into what Breslow said. We'll do it all, and you can line up your calls at 617-779-0985. I got fooled. I got duped. The Red Sox fooled us. They fooled us again. They went out this offseason. They got Alex Bregman to tell you, whoo, big splash. And you know what they did? They used it against Rafi Devers to dump him. Only to save money and not invest in the team at the trade deadline. Today, the Red Sox are a playoff team, and they held on to their prospects and did not add to payroll. It starts with one man. We just heard Craig Breslow speak, and I put my headset down, and I'm just going to read the comments elsewhere. It starts with John Henry. The Red Sox fooled us that they were serious about winning. And we bought in. I bought in. I bought in. I bought in. I thought the Devers move, they'd have money to either acquire talent or trade their prospects. And I was fooled. I got duped. Why did the manager even re-sign here when he was promised by ownership that they're going to be competitive and make moves? Rafi Devers' return, it was a dump. They traded one of those pieces today. We already know what Hicks is, and another guy's down on the minors. The one guy who constantly called out the owner for not adding to the team got dumped this year. Yeah, he might have been a tool. Yeah, he might have been lazy or not a teammate and may have not have done things for the organization. But he's the only one who ever called out the owner. He called him out multiple times. They traded him. They didn't invest in the salary that they saved on a playoff team. The Red Sox were rumored to be in on players like Suarez and Joe Ryan. The reports are they weren't even close. Your Boston Red Sox are right today a playoff team. They added a bullpen arm and a back of the rotation guy. It's so uninspiring. Yeah, they made moves. They didn't give up much. How does the team respond now? I am today further convinced that the Red Sox are just an asset that ownership won't invest in because people are still going to come to the games. They have Fenway Park. They have Nesson. It's just an asset for them. It still comes down to payroll for them. Shedding money while you continue to get fooled by the franchise and the ownership. We all got duped again today by someone who lit a cigar to appease the fan base. We all got fooled by the owner. We all got fooled. And I could give you quotes for days. I got receipts. Remember Sam Kennedy, that fool? We have the ability to do that in terms of, a blessing from ownership and fulfilling our goal of becoming a postseason team. That said, we have to start playing better baseball on a more consistent basis. So to answer your question, yes, we do have the ability to go out and improve the team. Guess what? Did you really?
As you sit here right now, is this a team that thinks it's going into July as a buyer?
Definitely. I mean, we were incredibly aggressive this offseason, adding Alex Bregman and Garrett Crochet and Aroldis Chapman. And the Narvaez trade, I think, will work out as one of the best trades in recent memory. And obviously we added Walker Buehler, who we think can right the ship here and has been totally accountable. So we had a very aggressive offseason rooted in a desire to marry up some new talent with this homegrown talent. That is still the plan. We are not where we want to be as we sit here on July 2nd. What day is today? July 2nd. Yeah. But we can still get there. The good news is there's still time, but we feel the urgency, and I know everybody in that clubhouse does as well.
Yeah, urgency. Oh, man, I almost swore. I'm a fool, Skaz. I'm a fool. I thought they were serious about playing in October. Thought they were serious about winning games again. Fool. Oh. You know what's so bad about all this? I blame myself. Look, Craig Breslow says, I understand the frustration and disappointment. There's not a lot of sympathy for how hard we tried to get deals across the line. Mm-hmm. You tried to get deals past the owner, and he said no. And you waited until the last minute, and you got shut down. So, Skaz, I'm a fool. You can play my clip about them being a World Series competitor all night long because, you know what? Every team that was in the race improved they didn't.
No, it honestly feels too soon, Joe. It feels too soon to open that wound for you. But I'm with you. I think today is an embarrassing day for the Boston Red Sox. I think it's an embarrassing day for the fans, too, and that's the worst part. This is who they are now. They're not the Boston Red Sox anymore. They're the Oakland Athletics. They're the Washington Nationals. Whoever you want to call them. They're not serious. The 5 teams around you, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners, they all made significant moves today. Some of those teams, not exactly a Boston Red Sox type market. Some of them pretty far away from that, actually. They all tried today. They tried to make their baseball team better today, and Craig Breslow did not. John Henry did not.
Yeah, what they did was they went out and signed Garrett Crochet, or traded for him, gave him an extension, signed a couple of the younger guys, right? Got them under control. And they went out and got Bregman.
And who cares about Bregman? Do you care about Bregman now because you think he's going to be back? You think he's signing up for this next year?
So I'm glad you said that because that was going to be one of my next takes.
Great offseason. You paid a guy $40 million so he can leave in a year and go to a team that actually cares.
Bregman doesn't need the $40 million.
No, he doesn't need the Red Sox.
He wants to go somewhere that will win.
Yeah.
That's what he's probably out to dinner with the guys right now.
I'm excited for Alex Cora to quiet quit in the second half as he does every year. He pouts in the dugout.
I don't feel bad for Cora, but he said it himself that he was promised that him re-signing with the team, he did it for his family, but also at the same time, he was promised something, right? He was promised something. I heard a little bit of Matz on the way in. He is right. Like they're not. I guess the word that I'm trying to find the word that he used, but other teams are desperate, right? You mentioned all those teams. They're desperate to win. They want to win. They want their fan base to see that they're investing in it. The Red Sox, they're not desperate. Just to give the Patriots an example, they got Mike Vrabel and they took ownership. They're desperate. Might not happen in the year. Looks better. Drafted high, right? All the big positions. They got young players there. They're at least trying. They're not attractive. Nobody wants to go there. Isn't this what the Red Sox are becoming? Like now you have to trade prospects in order to gain talent? And then when you get them here, sign them to deals? Is that how they're going to operate going forward? You're going to be a playoff team on the trade deadline day and not invest?
And blame it on everyone but yourselves. The other teams, they didn't like your guys.
You're asking for too much, guys.
And we offered so much. Teams had to tell us, it was enough.
Screw.
I mean, if there was anyone who thought Craig Breslow was anything more than a puppet, I hope you realize today that that's all he is.
He's a guy that...
I was impressed Nesson was able to keep John Henry out of the camera shot. It was like Elmo or Kermit the Frog there. He must have been, right out of shot.
All Craig Breslow is a guy that brings the offer sheet to the owner. And then, the owner, like remember back in the day when you'd give your paper to the teacher and they, you did this wrong, go do it again. That's what happened today.
I'm not sure Craig Breslow can open his mouth without John Henry opening his hand. I don't think it's possible.
We got to go to break. But a lot of things are like building in my brain. You mentioned Bregman. Like I'm starting to think about the coach, the manager. Like, what is his second half mentality? Remember, he took the day off today, right? He was with his daughter, right? Stepped away for the whole day because he knew. Probably.
I think Craig Breslow did too. He didn't seem too busy today. I really like that question from Alex Spear too at the end. Yeah, it's what's today like for you? I know it's a really long day. That's what fans care about. How long and tiring the day was for Craig Breslow. Just more PR crap.
Yeah, uncomfortably aggressive.
Yeah, sure. Yes, we all believe that. We believe that.
Hey, listen. When I want something, I'm uncomfortably aggressive, and I'm happy about it. I'm very comfortably about being aggressive when I want something. I know it might be uncomfortable for everybody else. When I want something, I'm comfortably aggressive. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just prospects and money, right? That's all it is. We got fooled. I got fooled. I'm a fool. Oh, I bought into the cigar and the Bregman and the crochet and the extensions. I got fooled. I'm a dummy. Your thoughts coming up here on the other side. Again, the opening take was presented by Super Service Today, Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning. Day or night, always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented.
We're still trying to get as much information as possible. I'll have a second opinion and then determine kind of what the right course is here. So we're still collecting information on that front. But then in terms of, potentially dealing from a surplus with our major league team, I think over the last 2 to 3 weeks, it became clear that all 26 guys on our roster were contributing to what we were doing. And, we weren't willing to take a hit to our major league team and potentially impact the 2025 season, in favor of trying to repackage or repurpose in a way that might have improved the future. And there weren't really opportunities to both trade off of our major league team and improve our 2025 outlook. So we felt like it was best to kind of leave that group as it was and, try to use what I think is a strong and deep system to try to improve the team. And I think, with Dustin and Steven, we did that. But in some other pursuits, like I said, it wasn't from an unwillingness to talk about.
And inspired baseball. Then the Devers trade happened. And then, whoa! Then they won 10 in a row. I watched the home run derby and did a whole week of what are the Red Sox going to do at the deadline. And then they played good teams where I actually said, hey, you know what? 4 and 5 ain't that bad, huh? Right? And then I literally watched an entire game on a Saturday afternoon. I watched a damn rain delay game the other night and woke up at midnight to watch what happened. They're in first place. And they've done nothing. Now, okay, let's be fair. They traded Blaze Jordan, who's a Heim Bloom guy, for a rental fourth lefty out of the bullpen. Is that how many now? Murphy. Who's the other guy they got in Wilson, Bernardino, and now Matz. All right, 4 lefties. Whee! And then Dustin May, who's got a 5 ERA. Now, would I take Dustin May over Dick Fitz? Probably. I would. And years ago, I liked Dustin May. But the Dodgers dumped him after Ohtani got cramps last night. Dumped him. I'm fooled. I got fooled. Don't tell me you tried. You did nothing. All right. Well, let's take a couple of calls because I know you guys are. We might have to take a break in a little bit, but let's talk to Steve in Miami. Steve.
Oh, am I pissed?
Cool. All right. Who's this? You're on the air.
This is Dan.
Hey, Dan, you mad?
What's up, guys? Thank you. I was going to talk about the Breslow presser. I'm wondering if Red Sox PR set some sort of limitations on what the media can ask. They already had Joe Ryan's money moved over to Spotrac. And cut me off if you guys have already talked about this. They had that money moved over, the Fox Sports thing, and nobody's asking Breslow about what went down with this deal and cutting Walker Buehler's contract because Henry doesn't want to go into the tax again. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're not the only one fooled. I was sitting on Twitter refreshing all day thinking they're actually going to do something with my Schmenzer in my hands at the end of the day. Same old.
I'm sorry. I think I got a quick, I don't know if it's me. I think I got a quick finger tonight. I apologize to Steve in Miami who I cut off because he made a noise and I thought that was just a reaction. So I apologize if you think I hung up on you. I'm sorry. RJ on the Cape, RJ.
Hey, guys. Joe, I just had a couple of questions. One, do you think they actually made a serious effort, or is this all just like smoke and mirrors and they're just trying to act like they did something again? And then the other part of that is it's got to be 100% John Henry if that's the case. I think Breslow's hands are tied, but maybe, I don't know. And then real quick, would the Pats consider McLaurin a second-round pick maybe? I would love that. What do you think?
They better. I don't think he's moving, but they better. Steve in Miami, how you doing, bud? Sorry to hang up on you.
Oh, that's okay. How you doing today?
How you doing?
Well, I'm a bit pissed. I mean, I stopped reading. There's so many rumors that are written. Oh, the Red Sox are going after this person. The Red Sox are going after that. I stopped reading all that stuff because it's just fluff. And by the way, the reporters in the Craig Breslow, and I don't fully blame him. He's like Putin and.
Sorry. Let's go to break. Let's back away for a minute, Skez. Let's back away from the calls. Trey, thank you for all your help back there, buddy. We're all aggravated, but let's not compare it to the real life problems. Let's just bitch about the Red Sox not spending money anymore. The team that you love, the team that you want to root for, the team that's in a playoff spot that actually needs help. And the owner is just literally investing elsewhere. Guys, I do want to just say this quickly. You're all the problem, too. You pay to go to the games. You pointing at me? Oh, I'm a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a problem. Yeah, I'm a you know what it is, guys?
You had hope, Joe.
I told you it's a Shawshank quote, right?
It's a dangerous thing.
Oh no, listen. I have been advocating that the Red Sox are a playoff team and have just as good of a chance as anybody. And you know what? I'll stand by that after today. I will. I'm going to own it. When the Red Sox don't make the playoffs because they can't defend and can't hit and their manager quits and the rest of the team just says, since we don't care this year, I'll just, why should I risk? When Garrett Crochet is like, do I really need that 20th win? Why don't I just, I got my contract. But this is what I mean by you people. Because I don't spend money to go to Fenway. I don't do that. I said that a long time ago. I don't go to Fenway. I don't buy tickets anymore. But there are people who are just going to show up. That place is a cash cow. Fenway Park is a cash cow. It's a museum. People will show up. People will keep spending money. You'll keep going to the games. They could be the worst team in the league. You're still going to show up because it's Fenway Park. And that's how Fenway Sports Group looks at the Red Sox. On their balance sheet, they look at Liverpool as something they should invest in. And they should, by the way. They should invest in Liverpool. It's one of the best teams in soccer. But that's where they look at most of their money. When they invest into that, they can make more money, right? Their NASCAR, which I don't even know if they have anymore, the new thing that they built, right? The Red Sox are just literally, that's just another part of their business. It's not like it used to be. Like, I remember when the Red Sox used to they bought out Kevin Millar from Japan, something you would never do. Remember they gave Daisuke just money just to talk to him and negotiate with him? Like, literally, Kurt Schilling, Theo Epstein had dinner with his family. Like, they went above and beyond to do whatever it could to improve the baseball team. Right? They wanted Josh Beckett so bad, well, you got to eat Mike Lowell's money. Well, they did something with it. Right? They did whatever was possible to improve the team and win. They don't care anymore. And listen, you're going to still show up to the games. You're going to still pay the money, and that's all they care about. When that changes, maybe that's when something will change on their end. All right, we'll hit the headline. I'm Joe Murray. This hour of the sports has been brought to you by our good friends. And guys, I'll take your calls as long as we can. Brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com. You can save 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. Talk to you guys after this.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports.
delicious energy drinks.
Red Sox make one move at the trade deadline today, adding Dustin May from the Dodgers. The rest of the league, though, made a ton of moves. Yankees, a lot of people made moves. The Red Sox didn't. We get football tonight, though. Hall of Fame game, Lions and Chargers. We get to watch DJ Ugalele play. Can't believe he's still going. And Terry McLaurin has asked Washington for a trade. The Patriots are the second favorite to land him. The favorite is to go back to Washington. Headlines brought to you by John Sewer and Train Cleaning, keeping trains flowing for homes and businesses over the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Joe Murray.
Come on, let's face it. Your summer barbecue, it's just training camp for tailgate season. And Patriots Training Camp is where the Sports Hub will be as the team gets ready for a new season with a new coach, Mike Vrabel. Keep it on the Sports Hub, and we'll keep you up to date with all things Patriots. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
I was all in the whole time, but, obviously my contract was up, and out of respect to the organization, to Craig, I didn't want to talk about it, right? And then we decided to talk about it, It gained momentum in a week, and, like I said, and they know it, the number one team in my life, we wanted to be here. We love it here. And, we took care of my team, the Cora Felicianos, and, of course, the promise of winning. Push me. I think that's the most important thing. I do believe we're in a good place. I knew we were in a good place when the season started. Well, I'm not going to show my hand, right? I mean, it's a business too, kid. But I think where we going is going to be fun. And I've been saying it all along the last 2 weeks. The people are here most of the time. I truly believe this is the last struggle, to be honest with you. I think this.
I got takes, but you know what? You guys are mad. Jake and Andover. Jake.
Hey, Joe. So, again, the thing that's a huge kicker for me is, like you said, we're also a part of this, idiot operation because we keep on going, oh, yeah, we're just going to keep buying tickets and going there. Honestly, if we were actually smart and we would do like what the Oakland A's did when they found out about their team being moved, dude, stop going to games. That, again, can we stop, playoff teams like LA fans traveling here because the Dodgers are awesome? No, but like the games against the Twins, the Reds, or whatever crap bag team, stop going. The only way that you can actually make any sort of difference is if you hurt his pocket somehow. And if that's 60, 70 games a year that we can try, that's something. That's something. That is the only thing that's going to get that corpse that is John Henry to get his head and actually do something for this team ever again. Or it gets it to the point where it's so bad financially, he says, screw it, and then sells the team to a new prospective buyer.
Yeah. Jake, you're not wrong, buddy. We're all to blame in this. We're to blame. We are to blame too. You go, you spend the money, you want to watch a ball game, right? Somebody comes into town. Oh, have you been to Fenway? Let's go. It's a museum. They got everyone by the balls. Let's be honest. They can just roll out the baseball. You know what it is? Roll out 1967, those losers, and 1975 who lost the World Series, and 86. Roll them all out there. Roll them all out. Because you're still going to go. And all your nostalgia. All losers. Throw out the 04 team. Sure. 07, 13, 18. They won their championships. And now that's it. They're it. That's it.
Can I give you another thing, too, that should have fans really upset about this deadline? They're trying to sell us on, well, I don't know what they're trying to sell us on anymore.
I don't know. I don't want to hear it, actually.
But the whole thing is, we've been told they have a great farm system, right? They're coming through the pipeline. They're going to rely on a lot of these guys. And I'm not talking about Anthony and the guys that are up right now. I'm talking about the next wave, who they're telling us is also. That's what Craig Breslow is telling us. That's what they've all been telling us for years.
Toley, Garcia.
All these guys.
If you want to keep, Cespedes, if you want to keep going down, Ramiro, all those guys.
Nobody wanted them today. Nobody. How good are your prospects? You've been flaunting these guys for years. We'll give you Roman Anthony. I think we can all agree he has it. Whatever it is, Roman Anthony has it. But what else? What else do you have? Because the entire league is sold today outside of, 8 teams, really, 8 to 9 teams. You're the Boston Red Sox. You've been pumping up your farm system for years, and you couldn't get the Minnesota Twins to bite on your farm system?
Who
sold everything, or are tearing it down because they're selling the franchise. Embarrassing. But they'll keep selling it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, Houston. Right? Houston. Just look at the night. Who's next? Who's next? What else is going on at Fenway next, everybody? The Astros coming to town, everyone. Who just made multiple moves and added salary in one of their old best players. Right? Now ahead of you again, probably. This is about ownership. Dave's. What's up, Dave?
Well, it's kind of funny. This year kind of reminds me of...
You gotta be quick. Ralph is in. Ralph. Hey, Ralph.
Hey there. Hey, this organization really needs to stop fetishizing their prospects. I have forgotten the names of more number one, future of the franchise guys over the last 20 years than I care to remember. And they hoard these guys, and it's just absolutely crazy to me. Like, they need to tweet from the farm system.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph. You're breaking up a little bit there. Justin, how you feeling, bud?
Hey, I'm feeling not good about this team, Joe. They've won. They're in a playoff spot now, but I don't know where this team's going. And I haven't done no game in 2 years, but I have my faults because I still watch. I admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know, buddy. Kevin, what do you got, Kevin?
Gosh, these Red Sox drove me to go to the 99 today for $5.99 chicken wings and a Bud Select. Not good.
We'll just end on that. That's all we needed. Eat your feelings, everybody. Hey, just remember, kids eat free when the Red Sox win.
Those kids might be getting hungry, Joe.
Well, they got filled up for 10 straight games. I actually can't believe that they're a playoff team right now.
For now.
And they got Dustin May.
And Garrett Crochet's healthy. He's starting right on schedule this week, right?
Wow.
Well, oh no, that's right.
They didn't want to play him against the Astros.
They pushed him back.
Instead,
that's not a cause for concern, right?
They're going to play him against the Royals, but what if he's not feeling well?
Well, they got another top-end starter at the deadline. Excited for the second half, Joe. Post-deadline Sox. Here comes.
Dude, I got those numbers for you.
Here comes the crash.
I got those numbers. All right, let's hear from people who know what they're talking about. Brian Barrett of The Ringer. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Chris Hatfield, the Sox prospects. Did anybody want them? We got all that on tap. We'll continue to take your calls. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Let's talk to Brian Barrett. He's of The Ringer. He's the Off the Pike podcast. And, well, quite frankly, Brian, I got duped. I'm a fool. I believed that they would do something. And, well, I now feel foolish, and I don't want to invest in the team. But anyways, what are your thoughts on the Red Sox and their uninspiring trade deadline?
Just really underwhelming, considering that Craig Breslow came out and said, 2 days ago, that they need a starting pitcher, preferably of the top 3 variety, and an impact right-handed bat who can play first base, DH, or even second base. And they didn't get either one of those pieces. I'm fine with bringing in Steven Matz. I didn't think the biggest need for the Red Sox was a high leverage reliever, but they clearly needed number 2, 3, or 4 starter. And at this particular point in time, Dustin May is not that. Dustin May, we just saw him last weekend. Bregman hit the hanging sweep right of the ballpark. He's had a miserable season. If you look at the numbers, he's 73rd out of 82 pitchers in ERA at 4.85. His whip is 64th. Home runs per 9 is 63rd. Lefties have an 818 OPS against him. And that's not to say he can not have a role in this rotation. He can. But when a guy like Merrill Kelly's out there, who against lefties and righties, the batting average is south of 212 against both. And Merrill Kelly this season has had 22 starts, and in 4 of them, he gave up more than 3 earned runs. In 4 the entire season. This guy's been downright one of the most consistent pitchers in the game. Not saying he's one of the best, but he's one of the most consistent guys. And in this rotation, he clearly would have penciled in to be number 2. And the fact that the Rangers, who had a rough start to the season, they've been picking it up lately, and they're one of the teams that's competing for you to get a wild card spot. They get that guy, Merrill Kelly. You look around in terms of the teams you're competing with for a wild card spot, look at what Seattle did, right? They go out there, and not only did they get Naylor, a week and a half ago, they get Suarez, who hit 36 home runs this season. All these teams, the Yankees rebuilt their team in some sense, right? I mean, they got one of the best relief pitchers in the game in David Bednar. And the Red Sox are sitting here. The Blue Jays go out there and they get Bieber, who I know is coming off Tommy John, but he's throwing the ball well, at least in the minor leagues. They got a frontline starter that they could certainly use. And the Red Sox come away with Dustin May, who may not even be a number 4 or 5 in a rotation right now. And as it pertains to first base, they don't even come away with anybody. Ryan O'Hearn was on the board, who clobbers right-handed pitching. They didn't get him, and plays a really good first base defensively. So I really think that Craig Breslow hurt himself more than anybody else with what he was saying publicly. He was out there puffing his chest for weeks talking about the fact that, hey, this team's going to be better. They're going to add to the team. Ever since the Devers trade, he's been available, to his credit. But the fact that what I compare this to is, this is like if Dave Dombrowski struck out. Remember, Dave Dombrowski used to always tell us what he was going to do at the trading deadline. Go back to 2018. He says, I need a right-handed complement at first base for Mitch Moreland. He gets Steve Pearce, and he says, I need another starting pitcher. He goes out and he gets Nathan Eovaldi. Craig Breslow said, I need a top 3 pitcher and somebody that can play for first base or DH or second base. He doesn't get any of them. It's just completely, really just a massive letdown for what I felt like there was a lot more attention on this team and a lot more enthusiasm, especially from a fan's perspective, right? The fan base, I think, was starting to be excited about this team, and they're let down again at another trading deadline.
That's why I say I'm a fool. I thought they wanted to win more games. I thought they wanted to play in October. And the cigar, right? Remember the cigar after the Bregman signing? I honestly, Brian, I look at it now as they got Bregman to get rid of Devers. It was a ploy. It was a Henry Cora. Let's bring him in. Let's give him more money. They ended up dumping Devers. The Devers trade's useless now if you really want to look at it, right? They traded one of the guys today. Hicks is nothing, and they still have a guy in the minors. So realistically, it was a dump to add to Devers. He was the only one who ever called out the owner. He always called him out. And I don't know what happened in Kansas City, but it didn't go well after it because they traded his ass. All I'm saying today is this doesn't fall on Breslow. You're right. He said a lot of things. Sam Kennedy said a lot of things. But it does come down to John Henry, and I just think that he's literally, I don't want to use the term spitting in everybody's face, but he's just laughing. Everyone's going to the games. They're spending their money. It's just the Red Sox are just an asset to him, and they just don't have the the determination and urgency like they used to have it in the past. And I think it's sad to see that from the Red Sox.
Yeah, you would like your owner to be putting pressure on the front office to make these moves and make a run. And maybe part of it is now that this Red Sox team is just part of the portfolio with all the other sports teams and other things that he is looking for in the future in terms of if NBA expansion happens, that he could be involved in that. Maybe that's what it is, because this is a great ownership group for so long where, yeah, they brought us 4 World Series, but ever since then it felt like, all right, this is a rebuild. How do we save money? And you had an opportunity here to maybe add to the payroll a little bit, and you didn't do that. Now, that $250 million that came off the books, I would hope that you spend it in the offseason, and maybe they revisit the Joe Ryan trade then, and maybe the price was just too much at this point, not in terms of money, but in terms of the capital that you were going to give up. Maybe that's part of the reason you don't get into that. But yeah, we have to see what they do with that $250 million from the Devers trade. And the one other thing I'll say about the Devers trade is just, you mentioned they gave up Tibbs in that deal. They also gave up their 30th prospect, according to Sox Prospects, in that trade as well. So you traded for Tibbs. He was part of the Devers package for 2 months of Dustin May. That's what you used. Like, that was the best prospect you got back in the Devers trade. And you used that to get Dustin May. That's what you got for bringing in Tibbs. Like, that was an embarrassing thing to me. Like, that's too high of a price. Like, and I'm fine with bringing in Dustin May, but doesn't that feel like too high of a price for a guy that's had an absolutely miserable season? Even if people say, hey, the stuff plays, the sweeper still plays. Yeah, maybe all that's true, but what hasn't played is the execution. So that's what irritates me about this whole thing. And I'm with you, man. I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I've been saying for weeks, like, they're going to get Merrill Kelly or one of those guys that is considered to be like a pretty good rental. And the thing with Merrill Kelly, that it would have just made so much sense. Even if he's a rental, he's had a really good season. He pencils into number 2 in your rotation, right? With Dustin May, there were things that needed to be fixed with him. Some other guys that were on the trading block, there's things that needed to be fixed, even if they've had good seasons in the past. Merrill Kelly was just, hey, man, go out there, be the number 2 guy in our rotation, and you would have felt much better about where this rotation's at. Because right now, you look at this group, it massively needed help, right? Crochet needs rest on Friday. He's not even pitching on Friday night. He's pitching on Monday. And we'll see what happens with Kyle Harrison, who was part of the Devers trade as well. Like, maybe he gets the ball on Friday night. But do you feel good about Buehler right now? No. Giolito, I know the outing was better the other day, but when he went up against 2 good lineups, the Phillies and the Cubs, he got smoked. I don't feel great about that guy right now. Bayo, I thought his command was off the other day, but I sort of trust him. But that's 2 guys in the rotation, right? Crochet and Bayo right now. Fitz was a mess the last time he went out. He threw 12. He got 12 batted balls. 11 of them were off the bat, 95 plus. I mean, you just can't live that way in the major league. So, yeah, I blame John Henry. And I do, Joe, blame Craig Breslow as well. The fact that he's telling us he was uncomfortably aggressive and you can't believe, or not that he said you can't believe, but the names that were being thrown around in the war room when they were looking for trades, at some point you got to execute a deal.
Oh, you got me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure. I was talking in talkback, so maybe you heard me doing both there. But he's Brian Barrett. He's of The Ringer. I got a couple of things I got to talk to you about real quick. What the hell happened in the 11th hour with the Joe Ryan stuff? Like, there were publications, dude, that posted that there was a trade, legitimately, that he was going to the Red Sox. What happened? Do you know anything? Because I don't know. Everybody that I know said that they weren't close. So what are you hearing?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there in terms of Fox had that tweet apparently that. I didn't see that tweet. My producer on my podcast told me, yeah, like that tweet was out there. Because I saw the original one where the Red Sox had sort of re-engaged with the Twins. And I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if they were, like, the asking price just got absurd, crazy at the end there, where they said, all right, we need your number 1 prospect in Peyton Tolley and a lot more. And look, we can argue whether or not you would have done that deal. I think if you were going to trade Peyton Tolley, who's now the number 1 prospect in your organization, you'd want him to turn out to be Joe Ryan, right? So I personally would have been totally fine with that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, like, what were the other pieces that Minnesota was asking for in that trade, because I certainly would have done it. And look, the Red Sox, we know last year were calling about Crochet, who wasn't dealt at the deadline, and in the offseason they were able to get him. And that's all well and good. Like, I didn't expect them to come away from this trading deadline with Joe Ryan. I would have been super fired up, and I would have given up the package to be able to bring him back. Like, that would have been awesome to me. But you can revisit that in the offseason. My biggest thing is you didn't do nothing. You did nothing, essentially, in terms of even getting a rental of high quality. But I thought for a second there, Joe, when Merrill Kelly came off the board and he went to the Rangers, I kind of had flashbacks to the offseason where going back to what the Red Sox were trying to do, remember, they were trying to get Fried. And the Yankees offered more years. The money in terms of the annual average salary was just about the same, but the Yankees offered more years. So they got Max Fried. And then remember right after it, it's like, whoa, the Red Sox are going after Crochet. And it's everybody besides, at that point, the big three in terms of the prospects. They're going to throw in their first round pick in Braden Montgomery, and they're going to throw in Kyle Teal, and they're going to pull this thing off, and they get Garrett Crochet. That's what I felt was happening in that last half hour before the trading deadline. Is like, oh, whoa, the music stopped, and Breslow doesn't have a seat. He's going to do something here, so he's going to give up a ton to go after Joe Ryan. I really thought that was going to happen because we had heard very little reporting about Joe Ryan up until that final half hour. Same thing with it's like, we don't think the Red Sox are going to get Crochet, and they did. That's what I was hoping for, but apparently none of that happened. And look, all these other teams got better around you. It's embarrassing right now where the Red Sox are at, considering all these other teams that are sort of around them in the wild card standings and even in the division. And the Red Sox are, it's like, if you're a guy in that clubhouse right now, how are you feeling tomorrow when you go in there? Like, this has sort of put seasons into a tailspin in the past. I go back to 2019, and that was not Dombrowski's decision, clearly, as he was soon fired. It was ownership's decision. But remember, they get Cashner like a couple of weeks earlier. They do nothing. And that was a team that went into the trading deadline. They started to catch fire a little bit prior to that. And that was a team that was the defending champs. Maybe they don't do anything when they get there, but they don't add. I think about even a couple of years ago, like they won out in the Abreu trade where they got Abreu for Vasquez. Remember how bad that was, where it's like they kind of bought and they kind of sold? You look at what the Red Sox did at this trading deadline. They essentially, and not that it happened the deadline, they were kind of more sellers than buyers, weren't they? Because they traded Rafi Devers. So didn't they sell more than they bought?
I was about to say that. We played the Breslow stuff off the top, and I just reacted, called everybody a fool, and then the listeners have been just pissed all night long. So it's been great. I'm glad, and I love that you're motivated. You just brought something up that we talked about off the air too. You know, Alex Bregman, right? He's got a $40 million option. That's a lot of money, right? Does he want to play for somewhere that isn't serious about winning or investing? And then just another one I wanted to ask you about was we played the clip from Cora last year when he signed the extension. He said that he was promised winning. So I don't know. A year later, I feel like those promises were not upheld.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And the thing with Bregman, too, is, and the Red Sox deserve credit for this, Bregman struggled against lefties for a while, like 2017 to 2021, one of the best guys in the sport against lefties. And then the past 3 seasons, he hit .236, which was 117th in baseball, and his OPS was 96 at 729. This year, he's hitting .367, which is third. His on-base percentage is first at .479, with players with at least 70 plate appearances. So to that point of the option, I would be worried now if I'm the Red Sox. Now, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he likes playing here. I think he likes playing for Cora. But all of a sudden, it's like Alex Bregman's having his best season since 2019. He's having one of the best seasons of his career. And you know who his agent is, right? So it's like, even if he really wants to be here, his agent's probably going to be like, hey, dude, I think we can get more money. And if you're Alex Bregman, obviously you have to entertain that opportunity. So, look, it would be great if they could go to him now and get something done just to show, hey, we're doing something with the $250 million. Because if not, when are you spending it? You got to wait all until the offseason. And with Cora, I'm sure he's pissed off right now because he's a guy that's been a very successful postseason manager, right? We've seen that in the past. In 18, he was awesome. And then they beat the Rays in that 2021 series. But he knows what he needs. He knew that he needed another starter, right? He knew that he needed another bat. I mean, you throw an Abraham Toro out there. Toro's a guy that's a .226 hitter, and now this past month, he just hit .221 or .222 for the month. He's back to who he's always been as a player. And Romy Gonzalez, yes, he hit the big home run against the Phillies, which was huge against Luzardo, where they clearly picked up something he was doing when he pitched out of the stretch. And then, yeah, he had a home run the other day off a position player. But overall, as much as I love Romy, he's been miserable lately. So you don't update there. So what is Cora being told right now? Hey, we think we got something with Dustin May, and hey, Christian Campbell is going to be back up in a month. Is that what they're telling him? Because Campbell's been hurt at the minor league level? You didn't get him any help. And I felt like the Breslow-Cora relationship was at a pretty good spot. But if I was Alex Cora, I wouldn't be happy, considering if Breslow was saying all this stuff publicly that we were talking about earlier about a top 3 guy in the rotation and somebody to play first base, you know who wanted those things? The manager. So you're telling all the fans publicly, you're telling everybody publicly, and you're definitely promising the manager that, or not promising, saying, hey, yeah, we know what you need and we agree with what you need, and you don't do it. I mean, it's a complete letdown.
Brian, before we let you go, what's the rotation going to look like? Are there going to be 4 lefties out of the bullpen, and will it just be Toro and Romy and just keep working everybody around for the rest of the year as far as the lineup goes?
Yeah, for now, I would assume that. And let's hope that Duran continues to swing the bat the way he has, OPS north of 1,000 for the month. Because really, you got 2 really reliable guys in your lineup right now, one of which is 21, and Roman Anthony, and Bregman's been awesome. And then Duran has joined that group. Everybody else in this lineup has been streaky. I would expect that for now, it's going to be Toro and it's going to be Romy. And until Christian Campbell is ready, maybe they bring him up to play first base, but I don't think that's going to be for a while here. As it pertains to the rotation, we'll see if Harrison gets the start on Friday, because they could really use some good news. Like, obviously, the Giants have been miserable, and Rafi has not been good since he got there. But getting something for that Rafi trade that we can actually see now, because Tibbs is already gone, and obviously Hicks has been miserable. If you can get something out of Harrison, who they've been working on his pitch mix, and he's been implementing a cutter, if he can come up and give you some starts, that would be great. But Crochet, of course, dealing with, they want to give him some rest. I would guess it's like, if you're looking at just the top 5 of the rotation, it's Crochet right now, it's Bayo, and then to me it really falls off a cliff. I guess by default you would say that Giolito's your third guy, who had pitched well, and I'm like, the Cubs and Phillies things were just really deflating, because that's when you go up against good offense. He has not been good. Buehler's been a complete mess. He can't give you 5 innings. And Fitz, I don't think at this particular point in time, is a major league pitcher. So I would guess that Dustin May fits into the equation somewhere in that 4 or 5 spot. He could pitch relatively quickly here, because the last time he pitched was against the Red Sox over the weekend. So yeah, I think Dustin May's got a good chance. It's not saying much, but I think he has a good chance to be probably the 4th guy in this rotation right now, if they can figure some things out with him. But yeah, it's disappointing, because I felt like this team, this group, deserved to be invested in based on where they're at, where their record is. And you've heard that sort of from the players, that they sort of expected that as well. And unfortunately, the front office didn't do it. But they want you to know that they got uncomfortable. They got uncomfortably aggressive and landed nothing. Why would you say that if you didn't get anything? Yeah, we were uncomfortable. You won't believe the names we were talking about. Who cares? You didn't get anybody. Why are you telling us this?
Dude, we are still trying to figure out what he said. You're bringing up, like, why did he say this? Dude, I still don't understand. Like, you're right.
Yeah,
Wait, what did he actually say today?
Yeah, like, hey, guys, we really got uncomfortable. Okay, well, it resulted in nothing. Like, I don't really understand the point of that. Like, you didn't accomplish anything. You just got uncomfortable. Like, what do you want for that? Do you want a medal? Like, is this like the Colts when they were the finalists for the AFC in 2014?
Yeah.
Put up the banner for the trading deadline for the Red Sox. Hey, we talked about trading guys. Like, do you want some sort of reward for that? It's embarrassing.
Well, you got the Off the Pike pod, right? Who'd you have on? Who you got coming on?
Chris Hatfield, man.
Well, it's so funny.
You guys got him tonight too?
Well, it's funny because last night, Skaz and I were like, let's do baseball tomorrow night. And I was like, let's call Brian Barrett. And I texted you late last night. And you're like, let's do it. And then I was like, you know what? All these prospects, let's find out about it. And I reached out to Chris, and then you hit me up saying, hey, I got Chris on my pod. So what a collaboration, right? This is, you know what? I want to know if you get the night show bump, right? Do the numbers go up after this now? The collaboration between 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Ringer, and and then the Sox prospects. Man, I mean, we got like 250 people watching on YouTube right now. What a bump, Brian.
I think we're all getting a bump, Joe. I think you're getting a bump. I think I'm getting a bump. I think Chris and SoxProspects.com. I think everybody's going to get a bump, especially too. Like, Sox prospects going to have to write up some stuff tomorrow in terms of the rankings. So they're going to switch some things around because
they lost Blaze.
How will you
Jordan.
remember?
They lost Blaze Jordan. It's a tough one.
Yeah, lost Blaze Jordan, who is Rule 5 eligible. I didn't have a big issue with that, but how will you remember the James Tibbs era?
Oh, man.
Hell of an era.
Yeah, another piece of crap that came over from the Phil. I was just going to say, do the Red Sox like taking the Dodgers trash? Do they like seeing that? Also, because think about it, right? They got May and Buehler now, and Connor Wong's still here. I don't know how the hell that still happened and not get it back. I saw a report today that if they wanted Christian Vasquez back, they could just call.
Yeah, I could just call. Yeah, it's a great point. So Connor Wong, Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, Walker Buehler,
yes,
and now Dustin May. Those are the guys. They get the guys that the Dodgers don't want.
Crap.
I mean, isn't it probably telling when you have a team that is competing for a World Series that said, yeah, we don't want this guy. And the fact that the Dodgers actually won the deal, like considering they got the 10th prospect in your organization and the 30th prospect for a rental, that's what they got back. Like, I don't want to say they fleeced you, but they kind of got the better of the deal, too.
Tibbs.
Not that I didn't want them to add, but they got the better of the deal.
No, you're right. I don't like Tibbs either. But Tibbs for May? Whack. What a horrible move. Oh, my God. You know what? The Dodgers own the Red Sox. That's just. But you know what though? Henry probably looks at it like, well, they're winners, and maybe the fans know of them, so maybe you guys can fix them, right? And that's probably what they think. Oh, dude, what a bad day! And this team's a playoff team right now, man. Will you still be locked in and watching?
Yeah, I'll still be locked in, but it's so annoying that you were building up so much positive energy with the team. And look, besides some of the base running blunders that they make that are just inexcusable and some of the defense that we see at certain positions, like I would argue that this team has been fun to watch. I've really enjoyed watching this team play this year and knowing that you could have helped that team just make a run. Because here's the thing, like if you look at the American League now, teams have gotten better. We've seen so recently in this wild card era, if you will, when they added these extra teams, that just get in there and see what happens. Just get in the tournament, so to speak, like Bill Parcells used to say, because you look at it, it's like Arizona made the World Series a couple of years ago. They weren't a great team. They were an awesome base running team and all that, but they just got in there and they got hot. We saw last year, the Phillies were a wagon. The Mets get in, and obviously the Mets are much better this year. The Mets get into the dance and they beat the Phillies. So it was just, hey, give your team a proper shot to get in and make a run. And unfortunately, the Red Sox didn't do that. And all this positive energy you built up after beating the Dodgers in a series, and then, yeah, unfortunately you lose Monday, but you take 2 out of 3 from Minnesota. You crush that team on Wednesday. You're feeling awesome about where you're at entering the deadline, right? I felt like, great. Let's watch the Red Sox beat up on the Twins and add tomorrow, like going back to Wednesday. And then it's crickets. And now, like, you better hope you win the series against Houston, or else it's going to get really ugly.
Brian, appreciate you, man. Continue the great work. Check out all his work at The Ringer. Check out his podcast with Chris Hatfield, who we're going to have on later tonight as well. Brian, well, we'll be watching, man, the rest of the way, even though I'm bitching and pissed and mad and I'm a fool.
All right, Joe, have a good one. And before I go here, I got to ask you, have you watched this new, because I'm not a big wrestling guy like you. I got to tell you, man, I watched that Netflix series. It's pretty good. It's pretty entertaining.
It's great. Wait, was Cody on with Bill Simmons? Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did an interview with him.
I saw some of the highlights. So all the wrestling fans, you got to certainly check that out. Yeah, no, the Unreal's good stuff. Dude, it's choreography. It's great. It's like being in the war room for the Patriots,
Yeah, I like all that behind the scenes stuff, especially with like they showed how like Cena and Rock were planning all this stuff. Yep. And then I like the CM Punk, man. Yep. That guy he couldn't believe he finally like headlined WrestleMania. It was cool.
That's right. And they got the heel turn by John Cena too. And how Triple H uses the camera guys. It was awesome. All right, Brian, appreciate you, man. We'll catch up soon.
Have a good one, Joe.
You got it. He's Brian Barrett, everybody. We got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, well, let's talk some football. How about that? just back away for a minute. This is why I don't like Kennedy and I don't like Breslow. Shut your mouths. You're just stupid mouthpieces who know nothing and have zero power. Nothing.
It's tough to decide who looks like the biggest moron today, whether it's Craig Breslow, because he couldn't shut up over the last, month and a half. He was taking shots at the Twins. You say, oh, we're going to be aggressive. Or Sam Kennedy saying, yeah, we'll be buyers at the deadline. We're in. We know these guys need help. How do you ever believe a word these guys are saying? You shouldn't. They think you are idiots.
So, Kennedy, idiot.
Sucks. That guy.
I don't know the guy. I'm sorry.
No, I've heard.
Sam,
never heard a good thing. I'll say that.
If you're listening, buddy, you must feel like a dumb idiot today too.
A lot of tire pumping from that guy.
So, I don't know you, Sam, but you are just verbal diarrhea.
I'll say it from a fan. We don't like you. Why would we?
I know.
Why would we?
And listen,
why would we believe a word you say?
You know how I joked? I don't even know if I was joking. You know how I said wheel out 67 and 75 and 86? Do it. Keep doing it, right? I think when Lucchino went away and then eventually passed on, they lost it in that.
Yeah, they've neutered every guy that's come in after him.
But and I don't want to bring up the Yankees. But
when Brian Cashman is running laps around you on trade deadline day, it might be time to, make a change. The guy that's been constantly mocked for his lack of trade deadline moves and not doing enough to bolster the New York Yankees. When that guy is running laps around you, I think it might be time to take a look in the mirror.
And the thing is Cashman's still from that era, right? The Steinbrenner era. I know
he's not.
Well,
he was fighting for the salary cap, which should have people very upset. But they're going to get locked out. So who even cares about baseball? They're going to get locked out in 27 anyways. Going to miss a whole year.
You just nailed a point that I wanted to bring up tonight. Was the CBT a part of this? And we didn't get into it last night, but Bryce Harper going at the commissioner, that never happened to Gary Bettman. It never did. At least I don't know it did. But an actual player told the guy to screw? To just even bringing up a salary cap?
Buckle up, baseball fans. You think John Henry's parking you? Wait till the lockout.
I want to get into this because today's about Henry. No, and you're right. It is about Breslow speaking and these guys and being promised by Cora. Alex
Cora's got to feel like a dummy. I'm not saying he is, but he's got to feel like one for drinking the Kool-Aid again.
This is you being happy at a job, right? And then someone says, hey, come work for me, man. I'll double your salary. You're going to get unlimited PTO. We'll give you stock options, right? We catered lunches when you have to come in on a hybrid work schedule.
How about not even that? How about we'll give you the proper tools to do your job correctly, to make you successful at the job we've hired you to do.
But where I'm going with this is, and this happens in real life, Skaz. People promise you a lot of things, and then you sign the deal, and when you show up, you're not giving the proper tools. You were promised things that were written in your contract. You don't get it. All these things do happen. There are people, dude, I've worked in companies where people sign deals, and if they want to make a decision within 90 days, they can just do that. I think a lot of these guys here were promised wins, promised being aggressive from ownership, by the way. That didn't happen today. I think Breslow went up there today and was like, this isn't good. And I think was apologetic. What the hell was he? We were uncomfortably aggressive?
No, you weren't. I'm not sure he knows what that means. I know he's a Yale guy, but someone might want to get him a dictionary. I'm not sure he understands what those two words mean, especially when next to each other.
Again, when I really need something, like when I try to call the pizza joint and it's busy every time I call and I can't get the online order, I'm persistent. I'm not uncomfortable. I want it, I go get it. I still don't know what that. I would like to just take the quotes and put it in the chat GPT and see what it says. Just take them all today and just give me a summary, AI, please.
Joe, you're talking AI. It's putting AI into AI, basically. These guys aren't human beings.
Could the future potential of a stoppage salary cap impact this team?
They'll probably tell you that. Just like they told us how close they were to Joe Ryan. When every reporter coming out of the Twins camp, the Twin sources are saying, not close. Was not close. Oh, call me crazy. I'm going to tend to believe them more.
When's the last time you've been aggravated like this?
I was going to say daily, but for sports reasons, it's been a while.
Yeah. Like, I was upset with the Celtics because they were better than...
The Bruins drive me insane.
But
they spend money. They're just bad at spending money. They'll try. They'll give Tanner Janot a couple million.
And the team that was the best regular season team, that was on them. I blame those players. Just like I blame the 2011 Red Sox, greatest team of all time. I blame those guys too. This today I blame on ownership. And I do blame on being gullible.
Where's Shaughnessy? Where's Shaughnessy when you need him? I'll be looking for a Dan column later tonight or tomorrow. Dan Shaughnessy, the voice of reason.
Real quick, I like having the baseball writers on the show. So, I think McAdam and Cotillo and guys like that, and Smitty.
I think they do a great job.
We have all these guys on. So
Nothing to do with them.
I'm not signaling anybody out. But was that an easy press conference today? And you know who was the dog out there?
The 98.5, the Sports Hub's very own. I thought Dondero was great.
Dondero, I think, asked the best questions.
He was in, who else had one?
What was that? Ownership? What was that?
Might have been some, but Dondero, get him in those we need a pit bull.
Oh, no,
it was Sports Hub's pit bull.
It was Breslow, right, at the Devers trade.
It might have been. I think so. We got to get Dondero more media passes here. Send him down there.
I mean, he asks questions that get answers. Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. You can have Alex Spear up there asking him how tired he is, how long his day was. That's embarrassing. I don't know Alex Spear. I'm sure he's a super nice guy.
Great writer.
Another mouthpiece for the organization, though. And Craig, I know trade deadline day, very stressful, long day. How you handling it? Because fans are really, really interested in that question and the answer. That's what I want to know. I want to know how tired Craig Breslow is.
Do we need the buttons down, maybe showing some chest hair?
Yeah, there you go.
A cigarette in his ear.
It's got to be
with
very
a bottle
tiring.
Of Jack.
It's got to be very tiring doing exactly what your boss tells you to do all day. Making 2 trades is exhausting.
No, if it was deadline day, Skaz, I'd get us, even you, Trey, I'd put 3 shot glasses down and a bottle of Jack, and I'd be like, good job, guys. we had ourselves a day, boys. Instead, we were uncomfortably. What was it? I don't even know the words anymore. I don't care.
Uncomfortably aggressive, I believe, is what they're trying to sell you, Joe.
Anybody ever heard that before? Has anybody ever heard uncomfortably aggressive?
When I think of uncomfortably aggressive, I think of like Aaron Neesmith on the basketball court. I think of like a guy just running around out there. I don't really think of it in terms of the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think of it as somebody who has no talent, but you told, like when basketball, hey man, we're going to do a press. You go on the ball and just follow the ball. Like no athletic ability. Just chase the ball. That to me is that. See, you understood that one, Trey. All right, we'll take a break. And this hour of the sports has been brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. end of the rotation pitcher from the L.A. Dodgers in the move. They gave up Mr. Tibbs that they got in the Devers deal. Other teams made a bunch of moves. Yankees got Bednar. Dodgers got Stewart. Phillies got Bader. Mason Miller went to the Padres. Finnegan went to the Tigers. Carlos Correa back to Houston. Charlie Morton went to the Tigers. Whew. Patriots practice today. Mac Hollins is back on the field. And we have football. It's 14-7 right now. Chadge is over the Lions. Headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clogged drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Joe Murray.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
It's worse. While we're at it, just because we're going to talk to Chris Hatfield, the Sox prospects. I've always dismissed the Terry McLaurin stuff. I have dismissed it. Whenever someone goes, do you think the Patriots are being on it? I'm always like, why are we doing this? Why would the Washington give up Terry McLaurin? Why? Are you a Washington guy, Trey?
He's a Ravens guy.
Oh, he's a real.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's Trey's last day, so we're going to bring him in the last hour, and we'll ask him about that. But anyways, should the Patriots go out and trade for Terry McLaurin? Yes. Would another team give up? I'll say this. Would I give up a second-round pick for Terry McLaurin and sign him to an extension? I would.
Would the Patriots?
Would I give up a first? No.
Not a first.
He's worth a third.
I would agree with that.
He's worth a third in a new contract. Probably 3 years and $95 million. Probably. Would I give up a second to do that?
I think he's 30. I think he's going to be 31,
him and Sutton
I think.
Will probably... McLaurin's a better player. I think the Sutton deal is on pace for what McLaurin should get. I mean, he wants DK Metcalf money, dude. But DK Metcalf said he didn't want to come to a bad weather and then went to Pittsburgh. So I don't think he leaves Washington. But he did ask for a trade today. And the Patriots, plus 450 to land him. Now, this is something where I would say if the Patriots did this and were aggressive, that would show something, right? Like, whoa, the Crafts. Because here's the deal. They're not going to be able to obtain people if they're not available, right?
I'll tell you what, Joe. The Patriots get Terry McLaurin, Sox season's over. It's over. It's Patriots season.
I'll give you numbers in a little bit where it might even show you it might already be Patriots season.
Well, it certainly feels that way today.
I'll give you those numbers coming up in a little bit. Man, I wasn't thinking this tonight. You know when I started to think about this was when you said, hey, we got Breslow at 7. I went, oh, man, it's going to be one of those nights. Plus, I want to know what happened with the pizza with Trey the other night. I was thinking about all the people on Com Ave, how happy they must have been. Mike is on the line. What's up, Mike?
How you doing, bud?
How you doing?
Very good, Joe. First, I listen to you guys all the time, you and Skaz. Good to talk to you. Just wanted to streamline. Just had an idea. I mean, I was really, really angry, and Jimmy Stewart, was driving my car off the road. I'm like, he's talking about the reliever too in Minnesota and all this. But I just got an idea. The 4 guys I would really be interested in, if I was Breslow, I really pushed for would have been Diaz and Sanchez as hitters, obviously at first base. Because the first baseman, Toro, he looks fried now. He hit about 280 to 3, and now he's down almost the last month in about 200 or so. And Fielder, he's like some bird runner. Like Fielder, he doesn't impress me either. But I'd look at those 2, and I would have looked at Arizona with Kelly and Ryan, of course, with the Twins. Now, you're the GM. Joe Murray's the GM. You are the GM, and you put yourself in, you could be 3 people. The GM of Tampa, the GM of Arizona, and the GM of the Twins. Who's the first guy that you're going to say has to be in the deal? This is an easy one, I think.
Of all the teams? Well, I would have went Suarez. Because he can
Roman Anthony.
Oh, you mean when asking
who's the first guy? If you're one of those GMs, you're telling Breslow,
yeah.
Here's what has to be in a deal.
Yeah, I bet you Meyer's in there. I bet you.
Yeah, and I'm not doing. I am not. This is just a theory I had. I'm not doing Romanant. That kid has shown me something, man. I think he's going to be a star. I think how he's better to play.
He might already be a star. He's fourth in the league in OBP.
He's unbelievable. They put him in leadoff. He got on 12 out of 19 times. It's ridiculous. He's going to start hitting bombs. I'm just thinking these guys, everybody wanted this kid.
No, I see. Here's the deal. I don't think it's about them not giving up their prospects.
Right.
I think it's about them acquiring talent, and then are they near the tax? Are they willing to go over the tax? Does it affect them next year and their money? Like, I think there was, Mike, I appreciate your call, buddy. I just think that there's just a lot that went into everything. A lot. Glenn, what's up, bud?
Yeah, I think ownership has proven that they don't really care about the fans or what they think.
Right.
My suggestion would be, and this is going to be on the media, so I know it's not going to happen because they covet their access too much so they can talk to a bunch of liars and then print it. But tomorrow night, after the game, when Cora walks into that room for his press conference, there should not be one media person in there.
All right. Will Cora address it?
Yes. Yeah. I would be shocked if he doesn't.
Well, you think he'll be like, hey, I like the group we have and I support what ownership did?
No, I hope.
I hope it's the other
knowing
way.
Alex Cora, he says what he said 2 years ago and last year, where he says every other team around us got better and we kind of stayed the same.
Yep. I hope he takes a shot because he's got his money, and if he gets fired, oh well. Hey, Chris Hatfield, Sox prospects. We'll talk to him next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I started off feeling duped and like I'm a fool. I'm a fool to believe. Just a fool to believe. Just a fool to believe the Red Sox care. Anyways. Well, it's like Christmas for this guy. His name is Chris Hatfield. He runs SoxProspects.com. He joins us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Chris, I'm disappointed, my man. It was just a disappointing deadline. Your thoughts on what the Red Sox didn't do today?
I got to say, you sounds like you've been kind of on tilt a little bit, but you're in an awfully singy mood for being in a bad spot, Joey. But,
yeah, we started with "Fool in the Rain" earlier because it was raining with Led Zeppelin. And I'm a fool in the rain.
A little Aretha. Yeah. No, it's fair enough. I mean, look, you can't help but be a little disappointed, right? Or not a little bit disappointed, but I think what it comes down to, and I think I have a slightly different take on it than you do, having been listening in. I think it's, look, I think Breslow just didn't get it done, is what it is. We hear about how they were in on Joe Ryan, and there was kind of the weirdness about, the Fox News tweet that said it was done and it wasn't, and the report from John Morosi that they were back in on him, and that didn't happen. I think that, he really did. I think Breslow really did intend to go into this deadline and buy. It just didn't happen. And, look, like, trades are a binary thing. You either get them done or you do not. There's no award for coming in second for a player. And, as much as I say, I think Chaim Bloom was fired for the wrong reasons. If there was a right reason to move on from him, it was that indecisiveness and inability to get things done at the deadline and things like that. I think that's what happened to Breslow today. I think they had every intention of adding. I think that the environment shifted a little bit heading into the deadline. You've got the Meyer injury that took what was probably their best trade chip in Jarren Duran off the table. They basically looked at it and said, well, we've got to keep him now because now we have enough spots for all of our outfielders. We're going to move Cedar Rafaela to second base most of the time while Meyer is out. We're not quite sure what Yoshida is going to be. We'll give him some run. And if that doesn't work, if Meyer comes back, we'll put an outfielder at DH. I think that affected both what they did in the lineup and the fact that it took their best trade chip for a really good piece like a Joe Ryan off the table. And I don't think they really pivoted appropriately in, going out and getting guys. I don't know what being uncomfortably aggressive to the degree that teams were asking them to stop because it was crossing a line means. Like, were they sending someone to to Falvey's house or to opposing teams' general managers' houses? Like, I don't know what that means. But at the end of the day, you came away with two pieces. Then I'm fine with adding Dustin May and Steven Matz. I'm fine with adding those pieces. I don't get that being all you did for a team that is sitting comfortably in a wild card spot in a wide open American League.
So I like the part about where you said you put this on Breslow for not getting it done. And I'll back up on it because when the whole Devers thing happened with Kansas City this year, I blamed Breslow and even Core, for that matter, for not getting the job done, and that it was Henry that had to go out there and take care of business. So I'll back you on that one. I at least like that take because Breslow hasn't gotten things done right. He did get the crochet deal done, and eventually I guess they got the Bregman deal done, but I don't think it happens without a little bit of influence with Core, right? So today, I do blame it on Henry, but maybe I'll start leaning into what you said. The last two trade deadlines, they have essentially given off pieces they don't care about for guys that other teams didn't care about, thought they could get something out of it and didn't. So if you want to get into Blaze, Jordan, or Tibbs, and I think they even gave up more for May, maybe you can get into that, but I just look at it today as they were fine with moving on from those pieces. And I'm fine with, like you said, Matz and the pitcher they got from the Dodgers of May. I'm fine with it. It's just that I don't feel like he was aggressive because maybe he's not seasoned enough.
And I think that last piece is the key part. If you want to put something on ownership, it's creating a situation where they had a hard time filling the chief baseball officer position in this offseason. And they had to go get Breslow at a point where he wasn't ready yet. I made the point on a podcast recently, one of our podcasts, that Craig Breslow has never worked in a front office day to day. When he was with the Cubs, he was working remotely from Massachusetts. So this is his first time working daily in a front office, and it's as the guy in charge. Now, that's not to say I'm not saying he's doing a poor job overall. I'm not saying that it was a mistake to hire him necessarily. The point is, you're going to have bumps in the road when you hire someone who's inexperienced and needs to grow into the job. And if you want to put something on ownership, put it on them for creating a situation where you have now gone 3 straight guys in charge who were there for 4 years or 3 years, and the job is now known for being unstable. That's what you can put on them.
Yep.
As for the trades themselves, I mean, the first one last night was Steven Matz for Blaze Jordan. Matz is a guy that is going to fit in either the bullpen or a long man role. There's a little bit of fungibility what they can do with him. He's been death to lefties. I think he gives them another left-handed reliever to back up Justin Wilson with those real heavy, death to lefties splits, and maybe give Brennan Bernardino a little bit of a breather. Chris Murphy's been great since he's come back, but you don't want to put too much on him. It's another option for them out of the bullpen. In Blaze Jordan, a guy who, it happens every now and then where there are guys in the system who are bigger names than maybe their prospect value is. I think a lot of people know who Blaze Jordan is. He was ranked our number 19th prospect in our rankings update we did this week. A guy with, his best tool is his power. He was in AAA Worcester, hitting pretty well. He's Rule 5 eligible this offseason, and he has a weird situation where a right first baseman, it's a tough fit as a guy that you're going to want to use a depth position on a 40-man roster to protect from Rule 5. They were in danger of losing him for nothing if a team selected him. I think that's why they were comfortable trading him. And it's not surprising that the Cardinals were interested, because that's where Chaim Bloom is. Bloom was the CBO when they drafted him in 2020. And Jordan's name came up as a potential piece going to St. Louis during the Nolan Arenado trade rumors this offseason. Fine with that deal. It's, Jordan's a piece I'm okay with losing. Matz is a rental. It's fine. I don't feel great about it. I don't feel terrible about it. As for Dustin May, you're talking about a guy who has been a bad number 5 starter this season, had just been demoted to the bullpen with the Dodgers, and they gave up too much for him. I don't love the deal. I don't mind bringing him into the organization, but the Red Sox gave up 2 AA outfielders. One is James Tibbs, who was our 10th ranked prospect in our recent update. He was one of the guys they got in the Rafi Devers trade. We had been hearing that he was a guy they might be willing to turn and flip at the deadline. That's not terribly surprising. I would have liked to have gotten more for him as a guy who was, drafted mid-first round last year in the draft. His numbers in Portland weren't great. He was only hitting 205 average, 589 OPS. The numbers weren't good, but he was getting adjusted after getting traded. It's a thing that happens. You've got a guy in his first full season of professional baseball. I get there being an adjustment period. But they also traded their 4th round pick last year, Zach Earhart, an outfielder who was hitting pretty well in AA, 232, 310, 420. But for a 4th rounder getting to AA that quickly, you again would understand an adjustment period. Earhart, probably more of a left fielder down the line. No tools really stood out. He was our number 30th ranked prospect in our rankings. Fine with moving him, but Tibbs is the point where it's kind of like, did you really need to put Tibbs in this deal to get a guy that the Dodgers had just moved to the bullpen? Yeah. That really seemed like an overpay for a guy in Tibbs who was not a great defensive outfielder, might have been a first baseman down the line. So didn't love that deal, and didn't really love the fact that they didn't get that's all they got. They didn't get that mid-rotation starter. They didn't get a first baseman. And I just wonder how the kind of shifting landscape of the Marcelo Meyer injury and a few other things really affected what they did at the deadline. It's not clear. I'm interested to hear if teams were asking for Peyton Tolley, who's our top-ranked prospect. He's a starting pitcher in AA. He was their 2nd-round pick last year. I wonder if teams were asking about him and they just weren't willing to include him in deals. I think that might have been a big piece of it too, but I'm interested to hear what we're going to see reported in the coming weeks, maybe months, maybe in the offseason about how the deadline went down.
One more on Tolley. Do you think that he's somebody the Red Sox could look into maybe helping, whether it's starter, bullpen at some point during the regular season?
I don't know if it would be, it would be regular season. I think you'd be looking at September at that point. Tolley is a guy whose stuff has ticked way up since he signed. His velocity went from being, low 90s in college to he's 94 to 97 now, touching, almost 99 with an improving slider, improving changeup, improving cutter. So they're really high on him. We're really high on him. That said, the fastball is so good. It's such an outlier fastball in terms of his extension, in terms of its shape. It could play in a major league bullpen right now, and I think that's a possibility if they decide down the stretch. Look, they didn't go do what the Yankees did. The Yankees completely remade their bullpen in the past couple of days. They're in a spot now where you do not want to be trailing the Yankees in a playoff game come October, because you're going to have to work your way through a buzzsaw of a bullpen. Could totally be that guy for the Red Sox. I think he could throw him out there for an inning or two, throw 80, 90% fastballs. I think that would play. The question is, are they willing to do it? Are they willing to have a 40-man spot taken up by him all offseason? It's going to be a decision they make down the stretch. It's going to depend in part probably on what the bullpen looks like coming down the stretch, how it looks here in August, how it looks in early September. But I think that's on the table. It would not surprise me. It would excite me. I think it would be, it's more likely than not that they don't do that, but that's got to be on the table with what he's showing you in AA right now.
All right, we're talking with Chris Hatfield, Sox Prospects. Go check him out, soxprospects.com. You'll see Peyton Tolley, number one ranked. As you get into it, Franklin Arias, you keep on going down. You got the password, my guy. That's my guy, by the way. I hope you know I like a right-handed hitting outfielder. And then you had Tibbs ranked in the 10th, and this is where I wanted to get into here. When you think about Breslow, right, and the prospects that they've traded and where they ranked at the time, Teal and Montgomery were 4 and 5, right? Top 10 guys. Meredith, right? Medrath, sorry, was one of those other guys. Tibbs, if you want to call him a top 10, but like Nick York, Lugo, Blaze Jordan's in this one. Do they really trade pitchers? I know they have, right? Gonzalez was one of them from the White Sox, but for the most part, though, like, they don't trade pitching. Have you noticed that? Maybe this is something you keep an eye on, but they have no problem moving on from outfielders, middle infielders, corner infielders. It's just, that's what it seems to me. But they haven't given up anything more than a fourth ranked, prospect at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I did. You're right. I mean, they definitely do that. It's hard not to notice. The pitchers they do tend to trade are guys that are in A-ball. They traded like 3 A-ball pitchers last year, and there were a couple of names that we had our eyes on that looked good in the complex league, who seemed to fit that mold this year, but they didn't move any of them. I think part of it is they see how young they are at the major league level. You've got team-controlled guys at all 3 outfield positions. In fact, 4 of them. You've got team-controlled Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell, Carlos Narvaez, who came out of nowhere. And, he might be, if it weren't for the fact that Anthony's been as good as he's been for the past month, he's your best rookie this year, which no one saw coming. I think they might see that they're so young at the major league level. People forget about Casas, also under team control, that maybe they don't think they need the hitters at the major league level. I don't know. It's definitely a willingness they've shown, though. And I think their strategy in terms of pitching, I think, is just amass arms. The more arms you have, the more spaghetti you can throw against the wall, the more likely you are to develop a guy who, improves the way a Peyton Tolley has this year and becomes maybe a major league starter, maybe a late inning reliever. I think that's their strategy. I think that's their theory of developing pitching. I think that's part of why they're loath to trade some of those upper minors arms. But part of it, too, is just in trades, teams have to want your pitching. And I think prior to this year, they just didn't have those horses to trade. This trade deadline, maybe it was just that the only guy teams were interested in was Tolley. We'll see if that continues going forward or not, because you would think with all of these arms, trade from that depth. Are you going to miss trading a David Sandlin or a Connolly early, 2 guys who were promoted to Worcester this week, who are in our top 10? Probably not. Brandon Clark is a guy who's also popped from last year's draft. He's in Greenville this year. He's, I think, ranked 6th for us right now. Is he a guy teams might have been interested? Maybe they're not. Maybe they see him as a reliever. So it takes 2 to tango might be part of it, but yeah, you can't help but notice how much more willing they are to trade position players. I saw the same thing.
Tell us about Mikey Romero. I know he just got called up. I have a bunch of his trading cards. He's one of the prospects I had years ago. He just got called up. Could he be a part of the future here?
He could. It's just tough to see the fit, right? Because if Bregman's going to be sticking around, I can't see Trevor Story opting out after this season. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's having a good enough year that he does. You've got Marcelo Meyer and you've got Christian Campbell. The dirt is spoken for. I think Romero might be a guy they look to move this offseason, but that said, he's had a good year. He had a really bad injury-plagued season back in 2022, the 22-23 offseason. that seems simple, but it basically wound up costing him most of the 2023 season. Last year, he missed the start of the year, came back, finally was able to get some health, finally got a full off season, and he's really taken advantage of it this year. As you mentioned, he got promoted today. He's basically going to fill the third base spot that Blaze Jordan was filling in Worcester, so he's sliding right into Jordan's spot. But this year in Double-A, he's hitting 250 with a 313 on base, slugging 436, 8 bombs, 17 doubles. He's a guy that the hit is probably better than the fielding tool. He was playing a decent amount of short. He really hasn't lately. His spot might be third, might be second, depends on how the arm plays at third. We think he'd be a better fit at second. But post shift, you do need to have the range and the hands to play second too. The fit is kind of tough just because of the horses that are ahead of him, which is why I see him as potential offseason trade bait if they do try and go close the deal on Joe Ryan or something like that. But at the same time, our team's going to be that interested. He's a former first rounder, high school shortstop out of California. Again, it's not altogether different from Marcelo Meyer in that you want to see him stay healthy. He is finally doing that, but the tools aren't quite at the level of Myers are at. He's not the defender. He's not the hitter. Has shown really good pop and really did last year, and he's done better this year with drawing walks and really working counts better than he did last year. So we'll see that continued growth and see that continued development. We've got him at 11 right now. He's not in our top 10, but a guy we're keeping our eye on, a guy that I wonder if other teams are keeping their eye on because he certainly could be available in the right deal this offseason.
Chris, just final thing for me. Breslow said a couple of things today. He goes, I don't know if it's surprising when it comes to offers not being appealing to other teams. He also went on to say that he doesn't think he thinks a lot of people in the industry appreciate the young players that are in the Red Sox system. Is the farm system not good anymore now that Anthony, Meyer, Campbell, et cetera, have been called up to the big leagues? Like, how do you rank this system?
It was a really weird quote. I will give you that. That was just a very strange thing to say. And I wonder if that was Breslow making a point poorly, that teams weren't interested in what they wanted to trade. I think it's a good system. It's still a very deep system. It obviously doesn't have the juice at the top that it had this past offseason when it had Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell, before the Crochet deal, Kyle Teal, right? I mean, they had blue chippers and they had depth. Now I think it's more depth, and I think it's shifting very pitching heavy because they're using their draft capital on pitching now because that was something they hadn't done. It was a change that needed to be made. I still think it's a very good system. It's still a very deep system. I think what it's missing are those blue chip type guys. And look, teams aren't necessarily looking for a guy that's going to slot in at number 30 on their farm rankings. They want guys that are going to potentially be future major leaguers, are going to contribute to the club in the future. They've got their scouts looking and they're at other teams and they're saying it's a yes, no. It's not a rate this guy on a scale. I mean, yeah, they have internal scales, but do we acquire this guy or not? If other teams aren't saying, yes, acquire this guy, if the scouts aren't saying, if the analysts aren't saying it, then you're not going to line up on trades. I think it was a really weird way to say they didn't line up on trades. I think it's part of Breslow learning in this role to convey what's happening in a way publicly that he's comfortable with. You obviously can't give away all of the secrets, but you've got to find a way to say that publicly. I mean, it was a weird press conference, though. I do have to say, I got to defend my boy Alex here a little bit. I think it was something like, mouthpiece for the organization. Alex Spear does a great job, and I disagree with that respectfully as far as Alex goes. But it was a weird press conference, to say the least. So
you know what it is? Listen, it's easy for us to be here on the radio and say the guys that are down there carry the water for the team, and it happens a lot here. I just think that the media has nothing to do with what happened today. It's I'm going to go Henry. I like your approach with Breslow. Like, maybe he's not, like, nobody wants to work with him. Maybe he wasn't thorough. He talked about being uncomfortable. Like, you want somebody like that running the Red Sox? I guess that's something I'm going to ponder for the rest of this year is he the guy, and will he be the guy going forward? I think that's maybe something to think about here. But before we let you go, why don't you pump up Sox prospects, man? You guys have been, how many years you been doing this now?
The site, we had our 20th anniversary last year. So we've been doing it put it this way, we've got a Craig Breslow player page is probably the best way to put it. So we've been doing it long enough that we've got one of those. The site is soxprospects.com. We've got a podcast. It's the creatively named soxprospects.com podcast. But we're out there. We're on Twitter. I'm at SP Chris Hatfield. The site is at Sox Prospects, and we've been covering the farm system for 20 plus years now. I think we do it better than anybody out there, and that's not to put anyone out there down. It's just that we have the luxury of focusing on one farm system for one team, and we've been doing it long enough that we've got, the built-in background knowledge that, either the beat writers have to be at Fenway, as great a job as they do. We talk with Alex all the time about the farm system. He does a great job, but he also has to cover the major league team more than we do. And the national guys have to cover 30 teams. We focus on the one team. So if folks are interested in the farm system, it's soxprospects.com. We've got rankings, scouting reports on every single player in the system, except for maybe, low rent signings in the Dominican Summer League. But otherwise, if a guy's stateside, we've usually got a scouting report on him. Rankings, rosters, lists of Rule 5 eligible guys and things like that, transactions. And we've got a forum that if folks want to join, I offer that they come and join us if they're, if Twitter's not getting it done for them. And actually today's the last day of our donation drive too, Joey. So, the site is free. We keep it free through folks who, donate on soxprospects.com/donate or join our Patreon. If folks want to do that, we'd really appreciate it. But yeah, it's been a while that we've been doing this, and it's a labor of love, but we absolutely love it, and we love that folks read what we do. What we've been doing for so long. So it's been a long time, but we still love it.
I've been following for a long time, man, and like I said, we were like, let's do some Sox stuff tonight, and we had you in mind, man. I appreciate taking a few minutes. Continue to put up the great work, and again, soxprospects.com. Everybody, give it a follow, and there's a little donate button if you want to help out. You guys travel to all these games, right? Ian's been to Greenville. I catch teams when they're down here in the D.C. area. Ian's up in Worcester and Portland all the time. Like I said, we do travel. We go to spring training every year, which is beautiful for us because it's one-stop shopping. Everybody on the same backfield. So yeah, we're flying around. That's why that's the point of the donations. It's not to line our pockets by any stretch. So it's to keep it going. So it
allows us to go get eyes on these guys because streaming exists now, but you just get so much more being there in person and catching these guys live, and you see things like what they're doing to prepare for at bats and get ready between plays and that kind of thing. So it's a key part of what we do.
Well, you can check them out also on the Off the Pike podcast with our earlier guest, Brian Barrett. We're going Joe Show strong. We're going to get the bump tonight, baby.
The bump.
The Ringer bump. We got the Sox Prospect bump, the 98.5. Excellent job, Chris, as always, man. Appreciate what you do, and we'll catch up down the line.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joey. Take care, man.
You got it. He's Chris Hatfield, everybody. He runs Sox Prospects. He's been doing it for 21 years. And go to the site. That's where I go to get all the information on the Red Sox and their prospects. And they also have, what else I like about them is, on one side, they have like updates on what the guy is doing the night. On the left, they have articles that are like an RSS feed from all the guys. So I like that. All right. We got football on. Do you know that? All this baseball talk.
Trey Lance having a pretty good game.
Trey Lance, we got...
Kyle Allen still stinks, if anybody was wondering.
I saw the pick that he threw.
Two of them. Two.
I missed most of that.
Not good.
But the other thing is that, did you notice the chain gang?
The lack of a chain gang.
Well, do a little football. We got the musings. We got Trey's last show. And we're just still reacting to the Red Sox tonight. You can call in 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right. Do you hear the bagpipes? Do they make you want to go to Fenway, everybody? You ready for the Astros series tomorrow? Where Cora is just going to rave about his former team and how he cheated with them and won a championship? Stole signs and had orchestrated a big drumming steel sign incident? Bagpipes. You know, I'm pretty upset tonight. I'm not Drake upset, though. Haven't used that one in a while. Probably not really good to use the Drake upset anymore. But I think that I thought the Red Sox were different this year. See, just like I thought the Celtics were special.
You got to stop thinking, Joe.
I think the Patriots are going to stink.
Maybe you'll be wrong. That would be nice. That one I'd be happy if you were wrong. The other two, not so much.
Who's this guy that's talking on the TV?
I believe that's Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I was going to say, during the break, we looked up the tallest quarterbacks of all time. I was thinking of a stiff backup that stunk in college, but was tall. And Skaz found him. Jake Luton.
Jake Luton.
Is it Luton? I don't even know what it is.
I don't know. But we number 2 and 3 tallest quarterbacks ever. Not that anybody cares, but we've done enough the Sock and Breslow's an idiot talk. John Elway, guys. Paxton Lynch and Brock Osweiler back-to-back. Remember when
Paxton Lynch sucked.
People wanted the Patriots to be more like the Broncos?
Oh, yeah,
John Elway.
The Don, right?
Don, yeah, that worked out well. They really won a lot of games there. Really great quarterback play from those guys.
When you're on the air for a really long time, you realize how many bad takes you have.
Yeah, and I think because of so many of those bad takes, some people just refuse to give them now and kind of facilitate.
Oh, yeah. But you know what, though? People will tell you that they're the most influential.
I would agree with that statement, though. I would.
Okay.
Yeah, that discussion we didn't get to last night.
We didn't. I think if we just did it for a minute, though, because we did it for a minute last night, just think about it. Who are the... Because I don't think there is a political person that is influential in Boston. I don't think there is.
That's not my realm,
No,
Joe.
me either.
Yeah, I'm not even...
But do you get what I'm saying?
Not even kind of aware.
But if we're talking influential people in Boston, how many times do people call into our show pissed about what Felger said?
Yeah, Felger earlier said...
And there was a time where I used to put up a cage that was like, this is not the Felger and Matz postgame show.
Don't poke the bear.
This is just no. And then the best is when people talk about basketball. That's the best. You know what it is? When I go out, when I I do card shows, yeah, but the Celtics, just they shoot too many threes. It's like, oh yeah, where'd you hit that one? It's just what I heard. Do you watch? I haven't watched the game in 25 years. Oh, really? So you heard that they shoot a lot of threes, huh? Where'd that influence come from? So the more that I think about it, I think Michael Felger is the most influential person.
I don't even know how you could argue against it at this point.
Now I will story time.
Please.
I did throw something in our rundown. You don't have to play it if it's easy to play. But I do want to bring up the fact that in 2004, I was sitting in my living room. What the hell was I doing at that point? I think I might have been in the car business at the time. But I was thoroughly listening to the Big O. Steve Buckley was there. I want to say it was McAdam and maybe even Maz, for that matter. I don't remember. But I was glued to 2 o'clock because I think the deadline back then, Skaz, was 4. I want to say it was 4. They moved it recently. But when I tell you I was locked in on what the 04 Red Sox were going to do with Nomar Garciaparra, I never thought they would trade him. And this is what I mean by Theo. I know Theo's back with Fenway Sports Group, but I'm now further convinced that he's just part of the asset. And what I mean by that is he's now back with Fenway Sports Group, and it's got nothing to do with baseball. I think he's just along for the ride and trying to, follow the meal ticket, follow the parachute. What else does Theo Epstein need to prove in the game of baseball or sports for that matter? But I also think that 2004 year was probably what motivated me to maybe want to get in the radio. That day was impactful. Like the amount of, are they going to trade Nomar? What moves are they going to make? Like they went all in. They got Schilling. They got Folk. Like it's
the
not,
O-Dog.
Yeah, but it's not working. So what's going to happen? And let's not forget that the Derek Jeter into the stands thing happened. And when that happened, Nomar was sitting on the bench, and the whole team stepped up and he sat down. It was kind of like a message from Nomar was mad at the team.
He was whiny.
He was whiny. They did offer him a 4-year, $60 million contract.
Good thing he didn't take it.
Okay, and what happened was he said a ball hit him in his Achilles, and that's where his Achilles hurt. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he tapped out because Nomar he played when he was hurt all the time. But was he regressing? Absolutely. Was he still one of the best Red Sox of all time? Yes. Could he have been, part of the Mitchell report and all that? Yes. But I will say this. Theo Epstein making that move as a young, just in a market like this, was balls. And I thought we might get that today from the owner. I thought the owner might have some demands like, you know what, go get that Joe Ryan. I want Joe Ryan. Go get him. Or just, hey, can we get another bat? How about just another backup catcher in case something happens?
Yeah, we're one bad foul tip away from Connor Wong. That's scary. That doesn't really instill confidence.
Who's in the minor? Like, I don't even know who's next. Do we have that Nomar clip?
I have the clip, but there's no audio.
Whatever. Yeah. It doesn't matter. All I'm trying to say is that day, I was like, this is awesome. I was glued to the radio. Are they going to do it? The deal kind of happened a little bit after it got announced.
I'm being told it was a Saturday.
Oh, it was Saturday? Okay, yeah, so I was locked in on a Saturday. I was locked in. It was weird.
July 31st, 2004.
Yeah, but then I must have been listening to sports radio on a Saturday.
A Mustard and Johnson.
So it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't even Big O. I don't know why.
Maybe he came in for the deadline.
Maybe
they did a deadline
show. I don't know. I just remember listening to it and locked in. And then when they made the move, I was like, oh my God, they really traded Nomar. And I was floored, and it worked. Oh, did it work? Do you know the story of the Minkiewicz ball?
Yeah, he's got it, right?
The Red Sox had a lawsuit against them for it. They want the ball. If I'm Minkiewicz, I'm like, hell no. Oh, and then they started throwing jabs at him, it's not cool that rental players have the ball. Oh, that's a good. You want to get into? We want to do a deep dive, guys. Anyways, we didn't do in or out tonight. We didn't do musings.
We can do musings after this break if you want. I think we've been musing all night, Joe.
I know. It's Trey's last night too. So we're going to get him in studio. I want to know about what happened with the pizza. Just thinking about that. All right, I see people on the phone still. We got to take the break. We're here till 11. You can call in 617-779-0985. That was a Saturday, huh? Jeez. I feel like I was listening to Big O. Anyways, Hour of the Sports is brought to you by Valvoliness and Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com to save 15% off your next drive through oil change at Valvoliness and Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
delicious energy drinks.
Well, football is back, and, well, the Chargers have a 24-7 lead. They're setting up for a field goal right now. Guess who the field goal kicker is for the Chargers? Do you know who it is?
Is it Chad Ryland?
It's Dicker the kicker. Cameron
I thought you were setting me up for something.
Oh, no, well, Cameron Dicker. He's good. And it's good. Trey Lance. Look, can you think of two more bigger hardos than Jim Harbaugh and Dan Campbell in a preseason game? Did anybody bet this thing? Anyways, Major League Baseball's trade deadline happened today. The Red Sox made one move. Dustin May. You guys know him, right? Played for the Dodgers. Got beat over the weekend. Stinks. They gave up 2 prospects for him, which is a little steep. And Terry McLaurin is asked for a trade. The favorites are Washington, New England, Vegas, and the Chargers. Headlines are brought to you by Premier Basement Waterproofing. If you find water from rain or your sump pump isn't working, call the best. 3rd-generation family-owned. The Albert family, 844 Live Dry. From PremierBasement.net, it's game over. Water. I'm Joe Martin.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5. The Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. Well, someone sent me a note that maybe it was fellow coworker John Wallach and Greg Dickerson that day. Maybe it was. I should text Wallach. Hey, was that you? Did I want to get in the radio because of you? Yeah. Anyways. Well, you can react to the Red Sox if you want. Let's start with Dan in Dover. Dan.
Hey, Joe. Good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
You know, I'm sitting there watching the halftime, and I'm watching Rodney Harrison without a jacket on, Hall of Fame jacket. You got Dungy, he got one for winning 1 Super Bowl. Lisa Salters got one for being a sideline reporter. And you got Bill Polian because he won one, and he was credited for choosing Peyton Manning for a quarterback. And now Polian and Salter are on the selection committee. Okay, you got Robert Kraft, 6 Super Bowls, and you got Rodney Harrison, 2 Super Bowls, 15 years. You talk about a popsicle headache. Hello.
Hey, Dan,
total joke.
Can I tell you? Can we have a serious conversation?
Certainly.
Rodney Harrison is the most fined player in NFL history. Rodney Harrison was considered dirty. Rodney Harrison got caught with performance-enhancing drugs. And guess what? He played for the Patriots. That's why he's on the sideline without a jacket.
15 years he wasn't. 15 years. And what year was it that he got caught?
The year he got hurt.
Oh, so the performance enhancing and drugs are probably something to do with, some kind of inducement to the blood, which were banned,
Sure. Sure.
And when was the last time, Joe, you heard of any enhancement suspensions in the last 4 years? You don't hear about them anymore, do you?
That's incorrect.
They went away, didn't they, Joe?
No. Actually, what happens now, Dan, is if somebody has a good game, right, they immediately drug test them.
They make sure they test them. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing in Dover tonight? Did the Red Sox get you, or are you just watching football again?
I got the game on, the football. I was so happy to watch it because I know the Red Sox aren't on. And let me tell you something, right, about the Red Sox. You talk about, what's that disease? Peyronie's disease?
Oh.
That's exactly what the Red Sox organization has.
Whoa.
Okay? It's called like a limp.
Yeah, I got you.
DIC.
Okay. Oh, you dropped him? I wanted to learn more about the Peronis.
I don't think you can spell that word out. I'm not sure.
You know what, guys?
I'm not sure.
You're in charge.
Better safe than sorry.
I don't know. We got to teach Trey the right things. You know what I'm saying? So the Red Sox are like Peyronie's disease?
No comment. Not a medical, expert.
Is he saying that they're bent?
I think he was more saying limp, Joe, I think is what he was saying.
Oh. Like Limp Bizkit?
Sure.
Limp like Alex Bregman with his limp? Limping around? Limp like they're limping into the second half of the season after the trade deadline?
The lack of blood flow, Boston Red Sox. That's what you can call them. Yeah.
I got you now. Peroni. Have we ever had a Peroni's?
I can't say that's a word I've ever heard before, I don't think.
Do you think that Patriots fans are naive when it comes to why guys aren't in the Hall of Fame? Like I know why Rodney's not.
Yeah, I know why he's not too. Because he took steroids and people don't like him.
Yeah. But do I think he's one of the best safeties of all time? I do.
Do I think he'll eventually get in? Yes.
He's better than Eric Allen, who's parading on the sidelines tonight. I think Rodney's the only person who has 20 interceptions and 20 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty good, huh? Man, was Rodney. Dude, I don't know if anybody the thing with Rodney is you added him to a championship team because Junior Seau got all the clout. And he was great. Junior Seau is one of the best linebackers of all time. All I'm saying is that I don't think people gave Rodney Harrison his due when he was with San Diego at the time. And when he came to New England, dude, he was the boss. That's what happened. He hit somebody in practice one day, and they were like, whoa, who's this guy? And Troy Brown was talking smack, and Rodney's like, well, I thought you guys were champions. And it just set the tone. But imagine, Rodney and Vrabel and, and Brady. Trashed some of the biggest trash talkers on one team. I bet you Brewski was a big trash talker. Anyways. Oh, I love a good trash talk. All right, well, this guy held, and he's back now. His name is Mike. Hey, Mike.
Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I am absolutely devastated by this deadline. I can't believe what we're doing with this team again and again and again. I watch this team all the time. It doesn't matter. I watch it every summer, even when they're bad. I'm out on the deck. I'm like, it's baseball. We finally have a good team, and they do nothing. What are we doing, Joe?
They're doing nothing.
Oh, I can't even stand it. I'm belligerent. I'm literally in my shed right now because my wife said, if you call the sports hub, you better go outside because you're going to start yelling. I go, yeah, I'll go in the shed.
Oh, does she know you call the sports hub?
Oh, yeah, she does. She goes, yeah. And she goes, you're going to start yelling because I've been pacing around my house about this deadline all day. And she goes, yeah, I'm literally in my shed right now so I don't wake my effing kids up.
What town are you in?
Haverhill.
Oh, Haverhill. Okay. I know Haverhill well.
Oh, yeah. You want Hidden Pig. That's right up your alley, right?
Oh, Phil, great guy up there.
The hell of a place, man.
It's great food. I used to love Stacks, but it's gone.
Yeah, they're gone. And seems like those guys weren't on the up and up either. So
oh, really? Well, anyways. Well, they got a good wing place over there, too. They do that peanut butter and jelly wing. It's so good.
Sparky's Wings, Joe.
There you go, baby.
How are you doing this to me? I'm literally in my shed screaming about the Red Sox, and you got me distracted talking about food.
No, you know why? Because you should eat.
Why is that?
You should eat your feelings. Do you have any Oreos in the house?
No, I don't.
You should eat a sleeve of Oreos with milk. That will make you feel better.
Joseph, I have 2 kids now, and I've been trying really hard to slim down.
Oh. What about a joint? You got a joint in that shed?
No.
That would help you out.
The bourbon.
Yes. Yeah, it's like.
But Joseph, for real.
Okay, yeah.
No, for real. Yeah. What are we doing? This is absurd.
Well, I think that the owner hired a guy that is incapable of getting the job done. But
so when is the owner going to have Linda? When is the owner going to have Linda take a picture of him smoking a cigar, celebrating that he stayed under the luxury tax?
Well, he's going to stay under there this year. Well, you know what it is?
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the picture of him smoking a cigar, celebrating that.
You know what, Michael? The problem is you're going to watch tomorrow. I'm going to watch tomorrow. People are going to fill.
Yeah, and we're losers for doing it. Nothing's ever going to change.
Thank you. You just nailed it. And enjoy your shed and your bourbon. That's my point. We're all losers. I'm a loser. You're a loser. You're a sucker. I'm a sucker. I'm a fool. You're a fool. We're all losers and idiots and fools and dummies. just keeps getting better.
Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You know that? Because we were talking Chargers wide receivers.
There's been a lot of Trey Harris talk tonight.
Yeah. Trey Moore, everybody, is his name. He's a Boston University athlete, plays lacrosse. He was our intern for the summer. He's from Washington. He covers Maryland sports. And what else do you do? Am I missing anything? What's your name of your podcast?
Locked On Terps.
Locked On
podcast.
Are you still going to do Terp stuff this year?
Yeah, still doing it.
Yeah?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm still doing it for now.
What's going on?
A little bit.
What's going on with the Terps football team this year?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about the QB competition. I think that's the biggest part of it. The 4-star coming in, Malik Washington, everyone's kind of got their eye on that, but they're picked to be bottom of the Big Ten, so people have different opinions on them.
What's up with Mike Locksley?
Yeah,
His deal.
I think after this year, I've said I think if it's another bad year, I think he's going to be on the hot seat, like a really hot seat next year, or potentially the Terps can move on if it's a really bad year. It's kind of my opinion on it.
Can Maryland get out of the Big Ten?
Can they get out of the Big Ten? I mean, they just left the
That's
ACC
true. They
not
just
too long
exactly.
ago.
Like, how long are they basically going to be the barrel of the Big Ten for years to come? And I mean, I guess their basketball team was pretty successful.
Yeah, the basketball team's good. I mean, the football's tough. You know, with the NIL today, I just don't think they have the resources when you look at Maryland football. I think that's one of the main things is they don't have a lot of NIL money, and that's a huge part of it today. Like, you can see schools who maybe weren't as good, but they have money, kind of get things going, but Maryland doesn't have a lot of it. I think they can be decent. I mean, the DMV is a good spot for recruiting. I think the goal for them is to be like a middle-of-the-pack Big Ten team.
Yay! Middle-of-the-pack Big Ten school, Skaz.
Might have to get the guy that sits in that seat from 10 to 2 to bump up that NIL program, to toss a little money there, former quarterback.
So Maryland, we've talked about this before, Trey, but so Boomer Esiason's probably considered the best. I mean, is he the best Maryland quarterback ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other Maryland.
How about Steph Diggs? Pretty good Maryland player.
He was a pretty good Maryland
Steph
player.
Diggs, DJ Moore, if you're talking about
DJ Moore, yeah. I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks because Zoe was drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah,
I mean,
Zoe's up there. Talia is up there. There's not a lot of good Maryland quarterbacks.
Did you know Taluia Tonga is playing for the Massachusetts Pirates?
My friend sent it to me. I didn't even realize.
So if you ever, I know a guy there. If you ever want to go down and see him, but yeah, I flipped the coin. I was the honorary coin toss person for the Mass Pirates last year, 2 years ago. And so I went out, but they play in Lowell Memorial inside. It's fun. And it's on Nesson every week too. So, but yeah, Taluia is now the QB there, and they have guys that are probably in camp at some places.
Camp. Yeah, those guys fill out the camp roster.
Would you ever play arena football?
If I was really trying to get back into the league, maybe. But if I knew the league was done,
will you play lacrosse after college?
No. I probably won't pick up my stick after college, to be honest.
Did you go to BU on a sports scholarship?
Yeah, I'm on scholarship for lacrosse, but I'm not playing in the pros and maybe men's league, but I kind of want to pick up golf, learn that more, and basketball. I'm a lot of basketball guy. Like even right now during the summer, a lot of basketball.
So that's how I know you're an athlete because like once you're done, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Once I stopped playing football, like I ended up playing in like leagues, but dude, I just hurt myself. Like, you know what I mean? But you pick up basketball, or you pick up some other kind of softball is where, that's what got real competitive, those softball leagues. But no, you're right. Once you're done, because you have to work out, right? You have to train, you have to stay in shape.
You get a little bit tired of it, to be honest. And then your body does kind of break down from it. I mean, I've been lucky enough not to have any major injuries yet, knock on wood. But it is true. You just play it forever that you're kind of ready to try some other things once you're done, once you have the opportunity to.
Did you know Frank Reich, former NFL coach?
Yeah, the old Panthers
Maryland,
coach.
yep. Yeah. Neil O'Donnell played in a Super Bowl. We mentioned Zoe. I'm trying to think. Sean Hill, he was
Scott Zolak is ranked the 6th best Maryland quarterback ever.
Okay.
I would take that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Jeez.
It's Boomer, Taluia, Frank Reich, Neil O'Donnell, Stan Gelbaugh. and then Zoe.
You know who's on that list? Dan Henning, former BC, Boston College. He was an offensive coordinator for years in the league. Wanted to get your thoughts on. So you're from DC.
Yes, I'm originally from DC. Yeah,
but do you not like the Washington football team, or
no?
Did you follow
I'm a Commanders. I'm a Commanders and Ravens guy, but I think like I transitioned more because everybody at my school that I went to in Baltimore, like everyone's a Ravens game or fan. Everyone goes to the Ravens. But my family is more like Commanders. Like, if you talk to my parents, they're Commanders fans. Like, that's what they watch.
Are they Scary Terry fans?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What do you think of Terry McLaurin at 30 years old?
I mean, I think in terms of him as a player, he's a great player. And then also, he doesn't have that diva. I keep voice cracking. He doesn't have that diva personality. So it's tough. I mean, I think you pay him. I don't know exactly what he wants. I saw something that said the Denver receiver just got paid and they had similar production.
Cortland Sutton. One's off an injury from 2 years ago.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton. Yep. And he wanted he wants more than what Cortland Sutton
He wants
has.
a DK Metcalf contract.
Yeah. So I think it's tough, but me and Skaz were looking at the Commanders' depth chart, and it was like, you got to pay him when you look at that.
Well, realistically, right? What are they looking at? Luke McCaffrey, who's off his rookie year.
Yeah, it was Michael Gallup was on
Debo.
there.
Yeah, I was going to say Debo and Gallup.
Yeah, I don't love that if I'm the Commander, especially it feels like they've made a lot of moves to try and win now.
Yeah, and Zach Ertz is still. I mean, Washington's what was people that hoped the Patriots take the jump, right? They had new ownership. They drafted the right quarterback. They got the right coaches. Cliff Kingsbury had a good year. Let's call it what it is. The conversation's always with the Patriots being on. Every team in the league should be in on McLaurin.
McLaurin, yeah.
The Chargers should be on McLaurin.
Chargers definitely should. I think
he'd be a game changer.
Yeah.
My thing is, why would they give him up? Like, you cater to the quarterback, right? Imagine drafting what you think is the most pro-ready quarterback who got you to the NFC Championship game, but you don't want to sign the wide receiver.
Yeah, he's on a rookie. Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal too right now. This is time to pay Terry before you have to pay the quarterback a ton of money.
When did you become a Ravens fan?
Just a couple of years ago. So
that you're not going back to the old Patriots days?
I'm not going back to the
Rice.
old Patriots days. No, but the funny thing is Ray Rice, one of his kids actually went to the school I went to. So I saw him around.
Hey, listen, here's the deal. Ray Rice was a fantastic football player, and people loved him out of Rutgers. Fortunately, he did something wrong that was on video, and he was kind of banned from the league. And people can't stand for that, right?
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
No, and I will say this, before that video, he was well respected. People loved him.
Not really interested in the before.
No,
though.
you're right. No, you're absolutely right. It's all you know, right? When it's public, it's all you know. But no, I mean, I'm not going to beat up his kid about what his dad did, but he must be a baller too, right?
No, the kid was pretty young. I kind of it was very young kid. So
are you a Lamar Jackson guy?
Yeah, I'm a Lamar
Jackson. You got a little bit Lamar Jackson. Is it the hair? You can't tell. More Jimmy Butler, though.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
But the Ravens were always a thorn for the Patriots. They're tough. They have swag. Terrell Suggs always just that guy. Even though he's a horrible person too, man, what a hell of a player. And I saw that Likely got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
He's from here. Went to Everett was a big powerhouse football school here, and he went to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina,
which is somehow this area is a breeding ground for Coastal Carolina. Hey, do you want to go to UMass, BC, or come to Coastal Carolina? You got a buddy there, right? Guys?
Yeah, golf guy. Yeah, that's played golf down. I've been to Coastal numerous times, and if I could go back to college, Coastal would be right at the top of the list.
I'm sure it's a good time.
Man,
is what I've heard and seen.
There's another local guy, Ricard is the fullback there for the
Patrick Ricard.
Yeah, he went to he's from Spencer, went to David Prouty High School, and a local guy as well. But Baltimore, I mean, I bet them last year. I think that they got hosed. Obviously, the Mark Andrews drop. I wonder how he's going to make up for that one.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough to come back from.
Better be a huge season. No one's forgetting about that, though.
So, Trey, today's your last day, bud. What have you learned? No, you don't have to kiss our ass, but like what, you got the internship, you're here. Obviously, BU probably has a program, right, and everything like that. But what have you noticed from a major market show compared to, what have you learned, I guess, during your transition to a major market internship?
Yeah, I mean, I think how much you guys prepare for the show when we're in the Slack, throwing stories in at like 11 a.m. You guys are throwing stories in. You guys are talking about what we want to talk about today. The show's not until 7 o'clock, and we're talking about it in the kind of the detail that you guys do that with. And then, like I said this before a little bit, all the stuff that people do backstage, what Skaz does backstage, it's not easy. There's a lot of different things that you have to handle, especially without an intern around too. There's a lot of different things. And then you always say what I've kind of learned is the easiest part sometimes is the talking part. So there's a lot more that goes into it that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people kind of see the talking part and like kind of say they want to do that, but they don't realize how much of it goes into it. So that's kind of what I've realized.
I would just say the traits that you learn, the reason why I like to show when we have interns is show the behind the scenes stuff first is because the easiest part of this job is speaking. Like, when you're doing all the work and the video and cutting and all that stuff, you do pick things up while you do it, right? Like when you see the stories and stuff resonates with you to the point when it gets brought up, oh, you had a take on that, or hey, you have a thought on that. But learn those traits and that preparation could help you with anything. Like if you want to be a golfer, you now know, hey, this hole, it's a dog leg right. I might have to use my wood instead of my driver here on this one, or I might have to go through, so just think about it. Anything that you learn in this business, you can take all these traits and these preparations, whether it's playing sports, whether it's in the real world, whether it's fries at McDonald's, whatever. I do think there's a lot of stuff you can take away from this.
Right. No, yeah, I totally agree with that. There's definitely translates to a lot of different things.
So what don't you like about the radio business?
What don't I like? I don't love cutting video. I'll be honest. I don't love cutting the video, but someone's got to do it. So
well, just think of this: when you get your locked on, and you have a producer who you work with, make him do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you should strive to be. No, you don't have to strive to it, but someday when you say, "Hey, I just did a YouTube show," hey, you go cut that up for me, because it's no different than being an apprentice. Like, go fetch me some screwdrivers, go get me, it's no different. But you're right. And just so you know, like, this business for 40 years was some people just talking on the air.
Right.
Now it's become a digital experience.
It's digital, with the YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok. That's what the huge part of it. That's what the younger generation
And the thing is you can monetize it. Yeah. So it's like, there's think of all the influencers in the world, right?
Yeah.
Hey, hey guys, you got to check out my, I'm just trying to think of something I just saw. Like I love TikTok.
Right.
I'm all over.
I love TikTok too.
But I'm not a TikToker.
Joe, you're a doom scroller.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
But I like to be solicited, right? Like for instance, there's this cool little pop-up thing that I always see that you could put in your backyard that you could also bring to the beach. And I look at it every time. It shows up on my scroll. And I'm like, damn. And you can click on the store and get the discount.
Yeah, the TikTok shop. Yeah.
But that's why I like TikTok because it's informative, but it's a solicitation at the same time. And it's like, just keep going. You know what? I might look at that. So anyways, well, we've enjoyed you, Trey.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
We wish you the best. And again, like I said, I always tell people, this isn't us taking credit, but it's so funny. Bryson hit me up today.
I talked to Bryson today as well.
Bryson was an intern of ours. He worked for the Oklahoma City Thunder this year, who won a championship. Like we had him on
I remember,
during the finals, right? Joe Celia works on our street team.
Just got a
job with BC Interrupted. So he's doing writing for Boston College this year. He's credentialed to go in. Awesome. Katie Bennett, we had her call in the night Amari Williams got drafted because she did a game again for him.
She might have called one of Trey's games too.
Who knows?
Like she was calling BU lacrosse.
She does BU sports too. But what I'm trying to say is that everybody that we've had on our show has used this as a stepping stone,
right?
And it's a great recommendation. We'll give you a recommendation, and but a lot like Chris DeSisto was 17 or 18 when he came here. Like when I tell you puppy eyes, like just happy to be here. Like now he's doing his own podcast. He's working on our street team. Like now he's covering URI football this year. So I mean, Trey, I'll say this to you. Yeah, I think you're very smart and intelligent, and I think whatever you want to do, you're going to be able to do it.
Thank you.
How about that? Is that it?
Yeah.
I just now Luke. Just so you know, I know you and Luke were this year. Luke has it. He's motivated. He's curious.
He was taking Joe for a ride in the Luke cul-de-sac last night.
He's very curious. He has a lot of questions, but you know what? He knows when to do his job. He knows when to get it right, and everybody's different. But I'll tell you, everyone that we have on, I like having you guys on because you're all interesting. You all get different stories. You come from different places, and like we haven't had a guy that knows Maryland football. So here's the deal: when Maryland or something happens this year, and it's Maryland related, we're gonna get Trey on them. They're like, this is where it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So whether you're in Washington or you're back at BU or wherever the hell you end up going golfing, maybe Arizona for that matter, who knows? But you can always reach out to us. We're always a resource, my man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate you guys for taking care of me and teaching me everything. But yeah.
One last thing.
Yeah.
We had the Frank Pepe's party the other night. You went home with the pizza. What'd the boys think?
I ate most of it. I didn't tell anyone. I was like, I gotta keep this for me for now.
Well, that would fill you up for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, it filled me up last night. I actually ate it cold. You guys were saying you couldn't eat it cold, but I ate it cold last night, and it was pretty.
Room temperature or cold?
Cold, sure.
So out of the fridge.
Yeah, out of the fridge, and that's what I'll be eating when I get home.
I'm a cold pizza guy, and I'm a massive Trey fan. I think I have even more respect for Trey now, knowing that he didn't tell anyone he was coming home with that pizza.
He's stealthy. That's what I'm telling you. He's the smartest kid in the room.
Oh yeah.
He just won't tell you. You'll have to figure it out.
Flying under the radar.
He's not going to tell you that. Hey man, I know how to do this better than you do, and you're old.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll pump Trey's tires. He's been a great intern.
Really.
He's handled everything great. But just to Joe's point, I think it was your first or second week, and we're leaving, and Joe looks at me and he goes, "He's already smarter than both of us." And
for real.
That's it.
What is your GPA? You got to be. You're intelligent.
I'm about a 3.4, 3.3, but the business school is pretty tough at BU.
Yeah, I'm not sniffing a 3 at BU. No shot.
But you are an intelligent kid.
Yeah, I like to think so.
No, but I mean, you could have went to what school? You had a bunch of options, right?
Yeah.
And you picked BU?
Yeah, I wanted to go because it was the best school.
It is?
But, yeah.
It's a great school. And the guy who we were talking about earlier, who there was an article in the Globe about the most influential person in Boston. Mike Felger was the guy. June Lee wrote an article from the Globe about his influence in the city, and he went to Boston University.
Yeah.
There's a couple terriers around here.
Yeah, Paul Perillo.
Holly?
Chris Gasper. No, Chris.
Well, Holly teaches there, right? Is that right?
Yeah,
Holly teaches there. He's a professor.
Should connect with him. You got
I've emailed him before.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sean Grandy. BU guy?
Grandy's a BU guy?
I believe so,
He
yeah.
does all the Celtics games, Grandy. Mm-hmm. So these are when you go on your own, bro, you contact us, you want these guys to come on, you just let us know, we'll connect you, and we'll go from there. So we'll say bye to Trey, but he's also going to do a Sports Hub headline. He's going to freestyle it, so we'll do it next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, the Red Sox did not make too many moves, but they did trade for Dustin May from the Dodgers for a couple of prospects, as well as big news in the NFL. The Commanders, Terry McLaurin, their star receiver,
It is, right?
I would say so.
Wow, they're taking a knee in a football game. Oh, what was the over-under tonight? I got to look it up. So it's 34-7.
It was 34 was the number.
Okay. Okay, so the Chargers. How'd DJ Ugalele do? Do we look that up at all? I hated him. Actually, I loved him and hated him. Let's see. DJ Ugalele, 2 for 3 tonight. Some people may remember him from Clemson. He was a number 1 recruit. Awesome baseball player, too. Transferred to, Florida State last year, and they were the worst offense in the ACC. And he has a shot in the NFL. I can't believe that. Hendon Hooker for the Detroit interception. Oof. Are you concerned about the Lions, guys? Because I am. I'm starting to feel under for some reason. I think the Bears will be improved. I think the Vikings. I'm in on J.J. McCarthy. I'm in.
You're a J.J. McCarthy guy, huh?
Just remember, I have a lot of J.J. McCarthy cards.
I got a numbered 1 to 5, number 1 J.J. McCarthy card.
There you go.
Might be rooting for him myself a little bit.
Do you feel like he should be considered a rookie?
Yes. Yeah.
He's not.
But but I feel like other sports he would be, right?
Baseball, he would be.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, no, yeah. Holmgren, right? Yeah, Holmgren should have been rookie of the year, but Wemby was there.
Yeah. That's kind of that's a weird one.
I think service time and the unions and all that kind of stuff like that. So tomorrow's Friday, huh? What do we? Well, you got Red Sox back in action. We have tomorrow night is the big Patriots season ticket holder event. I'll see. You know what? I'm gonna hit up John Serenides. I'll hit him up, see if he's sources on the ground there. Maybe we can get a little intel from him about what happened at camp. I'll see what else we got. At some points, guys, we got to bring back Joe Me the Money.
We got some songs we got to do, too. I mean, the summer's over.
We haven't done songs.
I didn't see you in July, Joe.
Well, I will tell you this. I'll be on at night as far as I know, until the week of the 20th.
Maybe next week we mix in some songs leading into the Patriots' first game.
Spitball an idea. What about the last 50 years? Like 75, 85, 95, 05, 15, 25.
Like a song of the summer by decades, maybe? Okay.
Oh, by the year, like
75, 85.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whatever the song of the summer was in 75.
I looked up some of them already.
Oh, all right. So you've been brainstorming, Joe.
I'm always prepared. That's what Trey said to us, right? Always prepared back here, ready to go with something.
That Slack channel was active.
Oh, today it was. Oof. Do you know? I think people need to come down from the trade deadline today. I think tomorrow will be like I'm an idiot. tomorrow people are gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm an idiot, because that's how I feel. All right, let's get out of here, everybody. This hour of the sports is brought to you by Valvoline. It's an oil change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com to save 50% off your next drive through oil change at Valvoline.